TikTok Live Center. That's fine. TikTok Live Center. And then I just need my restream. Do this pop-out menu. Boom.
I can't say Alex Jones.
Okay, let's start off. As you say, literally the second we start.
You started?
Again, we're literally 22 seconds in. When I said, are we ready?
And then I heard you
Jesus
making old man
Christ.
noises and doing something else, and I'm like, what is he doing? I didn't think you started.
And there goes our monetization for the night. Nice!
No, come on, not true.
We're going to have to start PR training you or something.
My Ziploc. Just tell me when we start.
Well, when I said you ready, what did you think I meant when I said you ready?
And then you started making weird ass noises, and I just assumed you were still fiddling with whatever gadgets you're doing over there to get it ready. You know what I want you to go, we are live, and I want you to send it like.
Or do you want me to do the Bill O'Reilly? Live. Fuck it, I'm doing it live. Go way back.
She's an idiot, that woman. She's an idiot.
Now, I think we all want the details on what happened today with Graham. I want to hear about this. Guys, history in the making.
Come on.
History in the making.
I doesn't want that.
Just the overview. Truth be told, I got nothing to talk about today. I've just been editing for most of the day. Editing, and I've been on calls and stuff.
Yes, so my grandma, your grandmother met with her classmate with whom she graduated in 1956 from Fordham University, and they were catching up. It was kind of cute. Like they never, as though they didn't even miss a beat. You know, they did see each other 50 years ago at the 50th reunion. So they would catch us.
Wow.
But talking the same as they did back
Grandma
then.
hasn't seen her since she was 40. That's crazy.
No, 2006 they saw each other.
Oh, never mind, 60.
So yeah, so she.
I did that math for. I'm an idiot.
Right. Yeah, no, they were.
Right. 40 minus 90. That's about how this podcast is about to go. That pretty much states how this is going to go. I might just up my fan a little bit. It's hot. Let me tell you, the heat.
Years ago,
we've had a lot of rain, which caused a lot of heat, big heat rise. My apartment is so hot.
Heat or humidity?
Both.
Heat or humidity?
Both.
Because we have a lot of humidity here. It's not that hot, but it's very humid.
Yeah. Did some meal prep yesterday. You'd be proud. It went super simple. Super simple today. I went just eggs, thick cut sausage, or bacon and sausage. All I needed. Perfect. It was perfect.
Is my screen very dark?
Not really. I wouldn't say.
All right, fine.
Do you look like Nosferatu? Yes.
But I'm trying to hide the wrinkles. If I put the lights on, I'll scare people. So I'm trying to keep it. No, but I just noticed there's a shadow on this side.
Mom, you keep trying to push for hair and makeup. It's not in the podcast's budget. Like, we don't have that. Sorry. Start looking into Botox.
Yeah, really. I think that's probably cheaper.
It's time to start going into
hair
Roblox.
makeup.
What's up, Milton?
Or just dim the lights.
Exactly.
Maybe we should do like a blank screen.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, we'll have to. This is where we start implementing AI. We do AI earlier models of you, just to get the. It'll be you. The AI is literally going to be trained, mom, but younger.
Make him young, blonde, and pretty.
Is that Mustafa? But yeah, so Grandma had fun. She got to see her old friend. So wait, are they both 91?
Yes.
Whoa.
Both about 91.
That's crazy.
In talking to them, and I don't know if I mentioned the podcast to her family, but I had said, when you talk to my mother and her generation, the word that keeps coming to my mind, which sounds terrible, but I mean in a great way, they were broads. I mean, they were broads, these women.
Classic
they were
broads.
told, you can't do this. You can't be an accountant. So the woman she was meeting with was an accountant. She became a CPA. And she said, the only reason why I picked it, I never would choose accounting, but they told me you'll never be an accountant. So I had to do it because they told me I couldn't. And then when somebody said the term CPA, I didn't even know what that was. And sure enough, I said, all right, I'll become a CPA. And as she was talking with Grandma, what a difference between that generation of women and mine generation and the current generation, in the sense that even she said, we we worked hard and we put our shoulders down, but we laughed all the time. Like they didn't have the chip on their shoulder. They weren't like militant feminists. They were just like,
I was just about to say, now we have the ones that dye their hair pink and don't know what gender they are. So times really have changed.
Right, or they complain more than they do the work. Like they just want the doors opened. They just feel they should be opened. And maybe I'm not saying that they're wrong, but mom's generation, you could have screamed at everybody, open the doors, open the doors. They weren't going to do it. You had to do the work. So this woman, she was telling stories similar to grandma's experience, but grandma, she's, the happy-go-lucky, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you love it. This woman nailed your grandmother perfectly. She said, and keep in mind, this lady was a CPA. She goes, I just remember your mother, meaning Carol, so smart. She was so, so smart. You go to her for answers. She would help you out. But she was always laughing when she did it. Like she was always happy, or she tells a joke, or like how she's so self-deprecating now. Your grandmother, she always lowers herself and whatnot.
I prefer grandma constantly be called G Unit on the podcast. I think we have to start. We have to start calling grandma G Unit. But hopefully she's doing the podcast next week, right? You come down next week.
Yes, we do. Yes,
whoa,
we do. See how she does. Big week coming up. But anyhow, that was my takeaway. It was very, very interesting. And there was a young girl there, this woman's granddaughter. She's 24. And it was interesting to have that generation hear some of the stories, because she didn't even know all the stuff that our mother, your grandmother, and her friends went through back then, when they were just told, no, you can't go into this building. Or she went to the Harvard Club in New York. She called it the Harvard, with work people. And the interesting part was she was one of the few women, because a lot of the women didn't work in accounting back then. And they said, no, women can't come through the front door. You have to come in the back. And she said, well, then I'm not coming in.
Damn.
She just left. But most women today would be obviously indignant, but embarrassed. And like, you're with your work people and all the men are going, and you can't. She was like, no, then I'm not going in. She was at least been embarrassed. She's like, I don't need this club.
Wow.
And she left.
The good old days.
It doesn't mean they were broads. They just didn't take no for an answer, but they didn't complain about it.
The way we should go back. Less rights for women. Kidding. Where am I? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, I was just
toughen them up.
I was saying to them, like, they have no idea what women, quote unquote, get now, and men too, like with maternity leave and stuff. Even men get time off. I thought the ladies would fall out of their chair.
Right. Paternity leave now.
Yeah. So how things have changed. Back then, you left your job as soon as you were going to have a kid, because they couldn't get insurance for pregnant women at work.
Right.
The companies wouldn't insure them. So they just wound up leaving and not working anymore. So anyhow, so to go from that to where we are today, they were like, are you kidding me? I'm like, no, that's how it is.
Well, I was going to talk about how, like, back in the day, I mean, usually the wives were the cooks, and then they didn't really have jobs. And the reason I mentioned that is because literally yesterday, you'd be so upset with what I made for dinner, because it was a struggle, right? I made that meal prep, as I told you, right?
Yeah.
And then I had ground beef thawing, and by the time dinner came around, I was like, man, I'm not hungry, but I have to make this ground beef. So what I did was I did my usual. I basically pre-made it. I did ground beef, my onions, and then cheese. And it basically, like, I put it together. Normally I put it in rice, but I didn't have the time to put it in rice. Mother. Essentially what I did was I made a meatball, and I was like, man, I don't want to eat this tomorrow, so let me eat it now. And basically what I did, because it was so oily, I had to I had to flatten it out on the plate. And I'm just looking at what looked like a giant hamburger, congealed hamburger, and I was like, let me eat this, I guess. And that was it. Right. But no, I literally, I lifted it, and like the oil just fell off the plate. I was like, I need someone to do this for me.
What did you cook it in? Just itself?
I think I used a little too much canola oil, and that's why. Or maybe the onions, because they were pre-diced onions, but I was like, oh.
Okay, because I don't use anything when I fry chopped meat. I just put the meat in and just start. You just got to keep it moving. I don't put oil or anything in for that.
There was something in there because
I'm no cook, no chef.
Because it was like yellow oil, you know? I was like, what is in this?
Chris, you do a cooking channel. You
I know. How
more.
pathetic. How pathetic. So I ate that yesterday, and I was like, it tasted normal. I was just like, man, I'm looking at this flattened piece of meat on a plate.
Unappetizing.
Yeah.
Right?
So that. But let me tell you, my calories must be down. Killing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Killing it.
Take your word for it. I'll know in a week when I see you.
Yeah.
Right now, I only see you from here up.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'll be spending a lot of nights in the bathroom like this before you come.
Come on.
Pulling trig.
I have a joke about that.
Should I get my cheesecake now for you, or should I wait till you're here?
Oh, jeez. I don't need it either.
Mom,
all Dad keeps saying is,
promised me.
As soon as she goes, we're on a diet.
Yeah.
As soon as she goes, we're on a diet.
After,
I'm like, we're not really eating that
after
much.
I'm back, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm in New Jersey with you, I mean, we can't go on a diet then. I've been waiting. I've been dieting for 3 days waiting for this.
3 days, huh?
No. It's been much longer than that. But
Daddy's like, salads and meat. That's all we're having. Salads and meat.
Well,
oh yeah, sure, okay.
I would be miserable. Salads and meat. It's just not enough calories.
No souffle here. Well, that's the point. We're trying to lose weight, so we don't want a lot of calories. Protein and salad.
Yeah.
Rabbit food.
I think you guys need more ice cream, more cheesecake. There's a lot of protein in cheesecake. It's straight cheese, straight dairy. That's the way I justify it.
Grandma was complaining this morning that I want a scale. I want to see how much I weigh. I said, why, Mom? You're 91. Enjoy life. Well, because I think I'm putting on weight. I said, all right, well, then let's cut back. All right, we should cut back. No more treats at night. Wait a minute.
Yeah, no more wine. Hold up.
Yeah. No, not the wine. I said, no, I'll cut back on ice cream at night. Just have one little. No, I'm not doing that. Okay, well, we're not weighing you just so you can keep pounding the junk at night before you go to bed. So
yeah, Gina.
Anyhow.
Graham's getting to that. She's close to 100 pounds. This is not good. Getting too heavy.
No, she's put on weight here. I have to say she's put on weight here. Not a bad thing as we go into winter.
Well,
she
just wait for the souffle show. Souffle with Graham is going to be okay. This is where we freeze the cookie.
Yeah.
This is where we put the other half of the sandwich in the freezer. What?
Oh, Graham. Susan, that's too much wine. You don't waste it on the beef. You drink it. You don't put it in with the meat. You drink it.
Let me tell you one thing. Even Uncle Jerry claims that I'm good at it. Mom, I am amazing at making the mushrooms. You know, the brown mushrooms.
Good. Yes.
The one thing I'm useful. There you
go.
Little white wine, little Worcestershire sauce, or whoever came up with that word, get that out of here.
Well, that's going to be your job for Thanksgiving then.
We'll see.
The mushrooms. Because we know the Indians and the Native Americans and the Pilgrims had their mushrooms.
Oh yeah, they're doing psilocybin mushrooms.
Right.
All right, Mom, you ready to start doing some articles?
Sure.
So for those of you that have never been to a live podcast before, usually we do the article.
What?
Yeah, there's a lot. We're still growing. Numbers are going up,
okay.
but
All right. Good,
so
good.
we do the art. We have a lot of articles tonight. We have like 16 articles or something like that. I think you did. No, actually, that's a lie.
Well, some of mine are short. Some of mine are short, and some I pulled only because I didn't know if you were going to talk about them.
We have 11 articles. So, yeah, I mean. Yeah, we can go into as much detail as possible, but what we'll do is we'll give. I won't lie, we're pretty bad at this too. But basically, normally we segue in the recorded podcast, but we can't do segues because people will have questions. So basically, we'll do an article, talk about it, and then if you guys have any questions or any takes, you guys let us know. So we'll try and do like 5 minutes in between each article for questions. And then at the end of the podcast, it's like an Ask Us Anything where we talk about other stuff besides podcast stuff. So, yeah, we got a lot for you. So, let me pull this out. I'll minimize this. Now, I should be, let's see if this works. If I share my screen, share screen.
Oh.
Boom. And then I set up the new podcast. There we go. So now you guys can see the articles too. We're incredible. We're incredible.
Finally.
Boom. Yeah, because everyone's been asking for it. Okay.
I want you to know I'm missing the beginning of the whiteout game for this live podcast.
Ooh, I forgot about the whiteout game. Michael's there right now. We didn't talk. Michael went home not to see his parents, but to go to the Penn State whiteout game.
All right, let me vent. He had a 2-hour delay. He told me he was going to land at 10:30. Okay, not his fault, but keep in mind, I'm alone with an 11-year-old dog and a 91-year-old woman. His flight doesn't get until 1 in the morning. Thank goodness Grandma's a night owl, and the dog will go in the car for anything. So here I'm driving in New Jersey at 12:30 in the morning to go pick up Mike. And fortunately, the roads were clear. We got him. But yeah, he came. I saw him, and he actually had his face in my fridge at like 2 o'clock in the morning, going, "What am I gonna eat?"
That's Mike.
Ew,
I think he does
bed.
it. Even I can't eat like that anymore.
Ugh.
Like if I eat any time past 8, I'm like, well.
Well, you think like he hadn't eaten because of the odd flight. No, he had a full meal before he left, and he had stuff there.
Yeah.
Like, you're a bottomless pit. You're in a bottomless pit. Anyhow.
Well, luckily Mike can do that. Mike's got that body type. I don't. So, all right, Mom. I think the first big one of this week was we had the big Charlie Kirk Memorial. Now, obviously, massive. I mean, I think it was 100. They filled out the stadium. 150,000 people, and then another 20,000 plus outside of the memorial. Pretty impressive. Now, I don't know. We were talking a couple podcasts ago when the incident actually happened. We talked about Erica Kirk's response, how it was a little fast.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to take it down this road again in the sense of, what did you think of the memorial?
You know what? I didn't watch all of it. I've seen clips of it. It wasn't what I expected. Like, I didn't think they were doing this type of an event. I guess I didn't.
That right there is the problem to me a little bit. Like, it's an event. It didn't feel like a memorial. It felt like a spectacle. Does that kind of make sense?
It was.
I get the meaning. I get why, but it's a little. It very quickly became. Like, let's put it this way. I would have thought that I would see a lot on Erica Kirk. Erica Kirk. Instead, I saw a lot of Trump. I saw a lot of Elon. Like, I feel like because of the situation, it really didn't encapsulate Charlie. Like, I haven't seen anything on Charlie in the actual memorial. I've only seen Trump giving his speech.
Well, everybody talked about their experience with Charlie. Like, there was a lot of people that came up and spoke about his message and what he was all about. So, and I guess it was apropos for that environment because they were letting all these people in. And put it this way, I just thought it was more of a solemn type memorial. I expected almost like a religious service type. I didn't realize it was going to be I wouldn't even say it was a eulogy. It was like a revitalizing event, like a spiritual event. I'm all for that. I think Charlie would have liked that. It just wasn't my expectation that soon after his death. I thought it was
the fireworks was a little much off the stage.
I didn't see that.
I was like, oh, God, this is where I kind of feel like we're kind of using someone's assassination to kind of kill two birds with one stone. One, remembering him, and two, getting our beliefs across on what we should do going forward. It's like, that's where I was a little... I don't know if grossed out is the right word, but I just was like, this is a little uncomfortable. I don't know if that makes sense.
I don't know. I can't say that I watched it, but the bits that I did see, I thought were very interesting. There is something to be said, when you're truly a Christian, like they appear to be, all of them. I think that was their intention, not to wallow in it. Like, if you believe in the resurrection, you go all in. So they don't seem to be people that are, I'm sure they're sorry and they're sad, but I think they're leaning heavily on their faith, or at least the immediate friends and family.
Right.
I also think they took it as an opportunity to get a message across about, the revitalization. One thing I took away from it, not knowing what they were talking about, whatnot, is just the number of people there that seem to be embracing the mood and being very positive and very much into the message of his Christianity and what he believed in and the family's faith.
So, but
that part of it,
what I agree with is, I agree with everything you're saying. The problem is, I feel like I didn't really see that when I watched it. So, hey Alexia, my biggest problem with it is, I don't know how to put it, but a lot of great things happened in the sense of, obviously, we had the big moment, if you want to call it that, where Erica says she forgives the killer and everyone's like excited. Great. Little do I believe it? Like, it kind of came off like that, you know? Do we do this for the spectacle because it's a spectacle? Or, again, I want to think it's genuine, but then I see fireworks, I see all the people there. It's like, oh, this would be great for media attention or whatever. That's what, I think that's my cynical side of me because of what I see on the internet now. Again, I like to believe it's true. The other good thing is Trump and Elon made up, which is a little, again, is this the right time? I guess. So for me, it was just a little strange.
I think that was a side issue, and I think the press made a bigger deal out of it than it really was. Oh, look, they're making up, and it's Charlie's influence, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
they were both at the event. They were sitting next to each other. You know, they both interact and whatever. I don't think the rift between, like, I really, in my opinion, Donald Trump, he seems like the kind of person, he's just got too much on his plate. He's not sitting around mulling how much he hates Elon Musk every day.
Right.
So I think they make a bigger deal out of this stuff than it really is. Try to make more of a story than it really is. I will say this event, back to what we were saying originally, this event to me would have been the appropriate time for Erica to give the speech she gave. And that's what I said. It's a timing issue. It's not what she said. I just felt like she did a little bit fast. Knowing full they were going to do something like this, you know, I just think this was the appropriate time. And there are a lot of people, and I do kind of agree with this now, because, you know, our religious background, it's always you got to go through the somber, the mourning, the wake, the funeral, the this, the that. In a Christian environment like this, you know, people celebrate a life. I don't think she wanted it to be sad. I think they really, people who have a very strong faith, they're sorry the person's gone, but they really do believe that they've gone on to something better. I mean, they really, really believe that, and they want to celebrate it. And I think it's a nice way to do it. I just didn't expect this type of an event. That's all I could say.
So, and then, okay, I'm going to kind of segue into another talking point of this article and a lot of things that I've been seeing. So, do you think Trump's getting a little, like, not really reading the room a little bit, where, and we've seen this a couple times in the last, like, 2 or 3, I would say, like, month or so, but where Erica talks about forgiving, and then he goes up there and he's like, I hate my opponent. I don't care. I don't want my opponent to succeed. I'm like, dude, read the room. That's kind of crazy to say as you're standing behind bulletproof glass. It's very strange. So that's where I go, because the other one that I'm thinking about is where he said to Zelensky, you can win your territory back. It's like, are you saying war? Are you saying, like, how do you win your territory back against Putin? Like, there's a couple, I don't know if I would call them slip-ups. And then the one thing that I will also say, because we did somewhat defend Jimmy Kimmel, is when Kimmel got suspended the first time, his quote was, let's see how President Trump is taking Charlie's death. And literally it cuts to Trump talking to a reporter, and the reporter says, how do you feel about Charlie Kirk's death? And Trump goes, that's great. I like, it sucks, or whatever, or he's getting through it. And he says, I'm opening a ballroom construction. I'm like, I do agree with Jimmy Kimmel. It was very strange to say. The only thing I can think of.
My understanding was he wants to call it the Charlie Kirk room, or he's dedicating it to Charlie Kirk.
See, I thought it was. I didn't hear that clip. Yeah, I thought it was because my only guess was because there's a helicopter in the background. Trump couldn't quite understand him.
Oh, that's possible.
And I think that's what happened. But it's very strange where the news reporter goes, how are you dealing with Charlie Kirk's death? And then Trump goes, it's going great. We're building a ball. And so I do kind of agree with Kimmel. Like, he didn't say anything too outlandish except for the thing that obviously got him canceled. But, yeah. So I don't know. That memorial felt like more like a spectacle than a memorial to me.
You're right. Like I said, that's not what I expected, and I didn't think it would be such a rah-rah. I mean, we come from that old school, you know, morning Catholicism where there's this period of being down and whatnot, which maybe we're wrong. Maybe they have the right attitude of, you know, celebrating the spirit of somebody. I don't know if you remember years ago when your friends lost their father at 9/11, and it was pretty raw and pretty everything else, and there were little children involved, but the wife had a memorial, and she did it as a celebration of life rather than his death, because everybody was upset at that time, right? It was 9/11.
Right.
And at the time, it bothered me only because, I'm like, oh, the man just died. This is so sad. And here we are having a good time, and there's a beer keg. But it's what the person would have wanted,
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
It's not really about you. And I don't think Charlie Kirk would want, he just didn't seem like that type of person when everybody's sitting around. He would want people to say, all right, I died. It's terrible. How I died is terrible, but, we got to move forward and we got to do it as happy warriors, right? That's, we gotta believe in faith because he was big into faith, and we have to move forward.
Right.
But it was just one speech after another, which is lovely. But anytime you're at, I love a eulogy even for people I don't know because I like hearing people's stories and learning about them. But when you know a lot about Charlie already, it's like, okay, the next person.
Well, I'm seeing again. I think everyone's seen more on him than we've seen. I'm seeing more of him now on TikTok than. Little side note, like there's. I just want to do a side note real fast. There's so many things that we've said that I want to segue to the next article, but I know that I can't segue, so I'm like, oh. But
let it go.
Yeah,
let it go.
So we'll get to him.
We'll get there.
Yeah, but I see more of him now than I ever did before. And again, you'll see the people who are very left-leaning who are now looking at his stuff and saying, "Oh, this guy wasn't a bad guy at all." So yeah, but I think we've talked enough about the memorial. So any thoughts on the memorial that anyone wants to let in before we move on to the next one? My question is, do we want to go right to the TikTok deal or the Kimmel stuff?
Well, you just mentioned TikTok.
I also mentioned Kimmel. Mom, this is so hard. Not being able to segue when my life lives on segues.
I personally feel like we've talked enough about Kimmel. I got to tell you, this guy is really, he's eking out every minute of that 15 minutes of fame over this issue. That bothers me even more. From somebody like me who didn't care what he said and didn't think he deserved to be kicked off. And it's still, I feel like, it's in your face. I'm like, what do you want from me? I'm agreeing.
Yeah.
Back off. They're still wrong and you should have. Did
you watch his, I thought his comeback speech was actually really good.
I refused to watch it because I didn't want to give him the ratings.
My mom's petty like that.
Yeah, because I knew everybody was going to watch it. Even people who can't stand him because they want to see what he says. And then I knew exactly what was going to happen. Today, they said his ratings were down 70%.
Yeah, because we all knew that was going to happen. Do I have something on? I guess I got the article for him.
He got his bump, and
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh, is he going to apologize to this?" I go, in my mind, I don't give a crap what he does. I didn't care what he said. It was absolutely wrong. But you know what? I don't care. We talked about it, and I didn't care what he wasn't going to do an apology. And now it sounds like everybody's putting him back on again.
It's not. Yeah. It's so. First off, the one I don't want to fact is I think it was like one of the most viewed late night returns of all time, 20 million views or something like that, which you never see on TV anymore. Or that might have been on YouTube. I don't know what it was on TV, but I thought it was actually pretty solid. It wasn't like a bad, obviously he took his shots at Trump, but kind of deserved in a sense, but he was very apologetic to Erica Kirk, very apologetic to Charlie. That I respected. I mean, again, he can say what he wants about Trump. I do think it is a little weird that we are going after. I think there's going to be a lot more to the Kimmel stuff that we don't know. Like his ratings were not good beforehand. I think the fact that Disney, we talked about it in the past podcast, but the fact that Disney really like the next day, not even fired him, goes to show like there was not much pushback, which means that they've kind of just been looking for a reason to get rid of him, and that was the final straw. They were like, I guarantee you, they were in that room like, yes, we got him, because 15 million a year, as you said, for views going down. Like Colbert, right? He was putting down, he was losing $40 million a year. That's why they got rid of him. It wasn't for what he said. So that's why it's like, oof.
See, and I'm not. When it comes to those individuals,
we'll get to
I don't necessarily buy their act. There was a comedian on, I don't know what, it might have been a Rogan, I don't know what, but I just saw a clip of the comedian, and he says, I've known Kimmel. I knew him before he was on this show. I knew him when he was dating Sarah Silverman. I don't know if you remember, that comedian. I remember when he was dating her. Yeah, and he dropped her. Anyhow, his point was, I knew him before he had this wife. He said Jimmy Kimmel was a very different guy with his first wife. Very different. Then he meets this new woman, and I guess that he was kind of inferring that she's a very liberal individual, she's in the media, whatever, and divorces the first wife for this one,
Right.
And completely changes overnight. Now, all of a sudden, he's Mr. I hate, anything conservative and blah, 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 blah.
So the problem is women. Okay, gotcha.
Right, right. Well, but that's what I'm saying. I'm a little bit suspicious when these individuals sometimes, that's his audience. It's liberals. He's in Hollywood. Those are his guests. They're in their own echo chamber. And sometimes I wonder, is it really what you think? Or are you just towing the line to make the salary?
Right.
And now the dynamic's changing a little bit. They're not used to that backlash, and they're doubling down because this is their echo chamber. So, I think he got too much attention. And like we said last time, you can't take them seriously anymore. They're so hypocritical in what they do that, let's say and I'm just making these numbers up, but you could say, oh, they're hypocritical on both sides. Yeah, it's like 9-1. Okay? Right. It's like 9-1. If you want to call that even, that's not good math. But, we're just those of us on the 9 side who take it on the chin all the time. We're just kind of tired of it. And frankly, we don't want to hear it anymore. So that's why I said, have your comeback. Let all these people have nothing better to do with their lives turn it on just to watch him blabber on. And he'll go back to his same way tomorrow. Right. Same person he was before. Okay.
Before we move on, so let's read some stuff. So if anyone has anything on the Charlie stuff that we talked about or the Kimmel stuff, just throw it in. But dude wasn't funny. His ratings were garbage. He should have lost his show even without the stupid controversy. Yeah, that's kind of what we were just talking about. His ratings haven't been good in a while. They were starting to kind of push him, as we said in the last podcast, we kind of pushed him off. They were having other celebrities kind of take his place for a few days while he was on a vacation or paid leave, whatever you want to call it. So I think this was just what pushed him over the edge or pushed them over the edge to get rid of him. And then the backlash was so much that Disney ended up caving, or other reasons, because they knew the views would be so high if he came back. I'd be curious to see how long he stays for. Because the viewership rate is down 70% already, so it's just going to go back to what it was.
Yeah, well, usually it's contractual. So if they decide not to get rid of him, like if he signs some sort of, what do you call it, moral contract or whatever, if they don't have that, usually they ride out the contract. However, like Colbert, he's still on, but he knows he's done at a certain time. So they're going to ride out the contract based on what they agreed to pay him. Unless they do something like what Kimmel did, where they could say, no, we can fire you for cause. But we'll see. I don't. Maybe they're hoping that there'll be a resurgence and that everyone's going to say, bring Charlie back. He has to come back. I don't know that that's going to happen.
Charlie?
I'm sorry, not Charlie. Yeah. Bring him
Mom,
back.
I hate to break this to you. I don't think Charlie's making a comeback.
Charlie's not coming back. Sorry, people. Slip of the tongue. Sorry, that was a bad one. But yeah, I meant Jimmy Kimmel, that they'll bring him back because he thinks, oh, the audience is going to want me. Not 70% down, so get over yourself kind of thing.
I think that people are annoyed with politically sanctioned agendas that are on TV, late night media, mainstream news. That's the reason people are turning to streamers and podcasts. Yes, the problem with streamers, and again, I know that this is, there's a lot of, how do I put this? I have to think of my phrasing on this one because that could come out. There's definitely some streamers that should not have opinions on this stuff. Let's put it that way. But there's also, like, you look at Candace Owens, for instance, who obviously very bright, very smart, knows what she's talking about. But then you see all the stuff going on with the shooting right now and how she was good friends with Charlie. It's like, okay, could she be right? Does she have information that I believe and trust? Yeah. Could it all be BS? Yeah. The Macron stuff is a little weird, but I don't know if I would put all my eggs in that basket. I look at Nick Fuentes, who he just got banned on YouTube within 12 hours of making a new channel because, right? He's a guy that is obviously very smart, but the way he says things is very Hitlerish. Sorry. Which I don't exactly think is a good thing. You have Alex Jones, who, I mean, we already took our monetization hit, so we might as well say it. Thanks, Mom, because you said it in the first 5 seconds. Not even. You said it like the first whatever. Anyway, but Alex Jones, he got taken down within 12 hours of YouTube the other day as well, making a new YouTube channel. Does that mean that they're right? Does that mean that they're wrong? I don't know. But I will say the top podcasts right now are all conservative. It's all Rogan, Tim Dillon. I mean, I don't think they're fighting the kids up there, but other than that, they had Mark Maron, who he said he's not podcasting anymore. So I don't know. The rest is all Barstool. People don't want one-way news. And I think people would rather go the opposite. Like, I want to see how something like Barstool does in comparison to ESPN in their shows, you know? I'd be very curious to see. I don't know if I got my thoughts out right there, guys, but I tried.
Well, I'll say this. So this is just a new medium, right? So back to what we were saying, like with Kimmel, there's no such thing as bad publicity in Hollywood, right? And when oftentimes you're going to see people that are not getting the movies and they're starting to become B and C level celebrities, you don't hear anything from them, they can't get a job, something sensational will come out, or they'll do something really weird, right? Like come out naked or wear some dress that's just to get the publicity.
Pull a little Nas X.
Yeah, right. Similar to that. They're crazy, but some of them, they know exactly what they're doing, and their publicists say, hey, honey, you got to make some money here. You got lawyers to pay and beauty and stylists and whatnot. So they got to get media attention. They do something crazy, or they'll say something crazy. And I think you're starting to see the same thing also in social media. Like if you notice, Candace Owens has an audience, right? I used to read her stuff, and I'm not big into watching a lot of podcasts just because it's a time thing, but I used to see her all the time. Then all of a sudden I didn't hear much from her. And now all of a sudden she's starting to say some pretty outlandish things. In my book, whether she means it or not, I think sometimes they sensationalize stuff so they start getting more people interested in that.
Yeah, I think I would argue that YouTube specifically, when it comes to all these big podcasters and big news guys, I know we talk about how news companies like on TV would do things for views. Like remember the famous one where the lady's in the canoe and the guy just walks by? She's in the canoe. Yeah, like that's a famous one. I would argue that for YouTube, it's probably about the same, maybe if not worse, because you can actually see the numbers. So I think a lot of big YouTubers, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, AJ, all these people, I think because the views are public to everyone,
right?
There's more of a reason to, like, I'll say it myself. Whenever I do a YouTube video on a game or something, like a gaming video, I always want to have the best title. I'm not the best title person. I'm obviously not the greatest at it, but like I definitely am like, how am I going to maximize the viewership out of this? And then I remember I'm a washed up failed YouTuber and I have a podcast with my mom.
Also, like what you're saying, if you notice, a lot of these people never even talked about Charlie Kirk. They never even knew him. Yeah. But now all of a sudden it's, how sensational can I be? I'm glad he's dead. Yeah. I'm glad he was shot. Because now they're getting clicks, negative clicks, right? Or
people have lost their entire livelihoods, right? You have all these idiots that posted to TikTok and they're just getting their jobs. The best is the ones, there's this one lady that like did some prayer, like thank God Charlie Kirk's dead or whatever. They found her. Her husband has a company that is just going under right now. And she's like, please, I'm so sorry. And they're like, nope. So again, that to me is the benefit of this. Because that person, you're a shitty person. Right, you ruined your husband's life. You ruined your livelihood. Your words have consequences.
Nobody knew her before that.
Exactly. That's how.
Right? Now all of a sudden she's getting attention, negative publicity. Now it wound up backfiring, and really that's the part of it they didn't expect. They all thought, well, I could say whatever I want to, and the more sensational, more attention I'm going to get. Who could say the worst thing about Charlie Kirk being murdered? Yeah. And now they're getting backlash, and they don't like that. Now it's a free speech thing. These people never even talked about Charlie Kirk before. I'm sure some of them never even knew him.
Yeah, they saw one video that they didn't like, and then they said, "I hate this guy."
That was edited up the yin yang, and they decided, "Yeah, he's horrible, and I hate him." But that's part of it too. And I've said this before. This goes long before social media.
But hold on. Well, go ahead.
Go ahead. The reason why you had the NPRs of the world, right? Mm-hmm. And remember, we cut funding to NPR recently, and everybody was up in arms, and PBS, right? They used to say, well, you have to have two voices in media. You can't just have conservative voices. So the government decides to get in and pump money into an NPR and a PBS. Trouble with that is whenever they would do non-government funded liberal, mostly radio, because it was before social media or TV, people didn't watch it. And I'm not saying these people were lying. and that's why I always say America is mostly in a center or right country. Maybe to left, but they don't. They're not the liberal country that liberals want to think they
Yeah, they
are.
are. Yeah.
And then when we have to pull funding for NPR, PBS, well, guess what? They're going to fold. They're going to fold. Now we know they're not, because PBS is Sesame Street. You can fund an entire broadcast of
That's true.
of this
Of just
the royalties
Sesame Street,
from
yeah.
Sesame Street that's been around for 100 years. But God forbid you take their money away. Well, if you don't fund them, or if you just let it go and let the rating speak for himself, you can't. Liberal media doesn't last. And look at Jimmy Kimmel, and that's exactly what Jay Leno had said, and Johnny Carson, who was the original late night host from many years ago. Your listeners may not know it. They say the same thing. You can't bring politics into it. You're not going to be able to sustain it. And then I saw another person who was talking about it and said, you know what? They never bring. It was it was Bill O'Reilly. We were just joking about him before.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Right. He's a little bit extreme because, he used to be on the high horse and he got brought down quite a few pegs. But he had a point. He said, when's the last time they had a conservative on those shows? You won't even get invited. He says, I have a book coming out. They don't invite me. I haven't been on in years on those shows. So they do not, for all their free speech and whatnot, he's like, they don't invite us. They don't want conservative voices on there. They don't want to talk to us. If they do, it's one in a blue moon. They bring somebody on. They just mock the person and off they go. But, conservatives want to hawk books. They want to talk about their podcasts. They want to do all this stuff. You can't get on these shows, or they don't want you on it. Right. So once again, it's very one-sided. And then they wonder why was liberal shows or liberal podcasters, why can't they keep going? Why aren't they getting the numbers? That's part of the reason why they take it too far.
Any comments on that before we move off of Kimmel? Or just social media stuff in general? Skin Charm says, hello, mother. Lucky Skin Charm. Hi, man. Hi, mom.
Hello.
Let's see. I think we're good. I think we're good on that. If anyone has anything else to say. Let me queue up our next article. Boom.
You had mentioned AI before, right? AI. Oh, you're gonna do this one?
Yeah, let's just do the TikTok one, because this is a big one. But we'll just see if anyone has any topics. Well, they say, anyone posts something in chat, I'm just gonna get some water, get some agua.
Uh-oh, he's leaving.
You're on your
doing
own.
A live podcast. So they're coming up with the U.S. version of TikTok. They're going to take over the company and make it predominantly an American company. Where did he go?
I should really start getting a Yeti. I should start using my Yeti for this. All right, I think we're okay. What were you saying about?
They're making it a U.S.-based company, predominantly U.S. American company.
So they came down to a deal. So first off, it's kind of weird because they basically paid full price for not getting something full price. We know someone who was going to buy TikTok for $50 billion with a conglomerate of a bunch of people, obviously. But even he was like, the evaluation didn't make sense. So for them to get it for $20 billion was actually, that would have been like more fair. But they ended up selling it for $16 billion. We don't really know exactly where, but probably somewhere between that. And this is what they did. Now, I just remember when we were talking about buying it, someone was talking about buying it. They said that China still wanted to keep 60%, which was crazy. So, America. So in this TikTok deal, America gets 65% of TikTok. The Chinese still gets 20%, but there's a caveat. It's going to be a brand new app with a brand new algorithm. So China's going to own theirs completely. ByteDance is going to own it completely, like 100% in whatever conglomerates they have over there. And then we have this new app that we're making that somehow we're basically buying the licensing for.
Right.
That's going to tie into the Chinese one anyway for $14 to $16 billion. So we I feel like we lost. I don't think you have to know basic business to know that. I just feel like we paid almost $20 billion to own 65% of an app that we're making. It's like if I bought Apple, said I'm going to make my own iPhone called the iPhone 18, and I still give most of it back to, or like a huge portion of it back to Apple. Like, yeah, it's business, but also I feel like that's kind of a loss. But I guess what America gets is they get the ability to control the algorithms and marketing and all this stuff. Don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. You know?
Well, it's not so much that, it's the data. The big issue that the government had was the data that the Chinese company ByteDance was pulling and basically using, which is always a concern in a communist nation. You know, they own these companies or they have control over them to some extent. So that was the biggest threat. Either you give it to, change your ways, or you can't market to America anymore, right? Which a lot of people use TikTok. It's a huge, hundreds million, some odd million, 200 million. So it's one of these things where if you can't beat them, join them. So if you want to keep TikTok going, it has to be taken over by American companies where it fall. And you remember too, now they fall under American laws, what is predominantly an American company, where there's regulations and the FCC gets involved and there's more of a control over where the information goes and what you're doing with it. And that's important because it was a security issue in some places, some instances.
I have to say, even though I don't like the deal, even though I feel like the deal doesn't make complete sense, and I do listen, I don't really trust the U.S. government with our data, yet alone China. So it's really the lesser of two evils. But to me, I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, either way, we had to buy some form of a TikTok because Instagram's dead, right? When was the last time you heard someone become Instagram famous? I don't know anyone that really uses Instagram anymore. Other countries use it a lot. Like I have friends in other countries that they'll tell me like, we don't use TikTok. It's really just Instagram. The only time I use Instagram is for reels. Like when I show you my reels at the end. Yeah. But I don't know anyone that really in this country that really uses Instagram anymore. More people are actually going back to Facebook now that I've noticed. But I just sit there and I go, man, social media is stupid. I'm like, why are we doing this? Yeah. But again, some people have company. It's evolved to the point where people make money doing it. Like again, I don't have a personal Instagram or TikTok or whatever. It's just stuff for Pancake 101. So yeah, and hey, let me tell you, my life's pretty solid without social media. I like not being on a phone all day. So
well, yeah, I know it's another popular social media platform, and like I said, there's something to be said for when you have that many people using it and you don't have, I won't say a viable alternative, but an alternative people are not.
Well, you can make an argument. Yeah, you can make an argument, though. TikTok's more of a global app because for Instagram, with those algorithms, for instance, you're not going to get things from other countries very often. Like if I'm in America, I'm not going to get something from India, right? On Instagram. On TikTok, I could get something from India. There's actually a good chance.
Right, and we were talking about that a while ago about TikTok. This just came to my mind how they were manipulating the algorithms, or so people felt, like they were letting garbage go to the American kids
and crap to the
Chinese. And they were spewing that out of their own young populace, which, you know, you got to scratch your head a little bit and say, why are you dumping your garbage on me? And meanwhile, you're cleaning up your act for your own young youth. Well, so, you know.
Now, the other question is, and this is a business problem, are we going to have two different apps now? Am I going to have to download an American version and a Chinese version? Because apparently it's going to, as I said, even though it's our app, it's still going to tie into the Chinese version of TikTok because they have all the other algorithms. So like if I post something, in all fairness for my business, if I post something to TikTok, it should be able to go global, not just in America.
Right. So what's the point?
Right. So am I going to have a TikTok A and a TikTok C? One for China, one for... So people aren't going to want to download two apps. So
yeah, I don't know how the system works when you do the algorithms. To your point, you know, can you manipulate? Well, they can manipulate it. We know because they do. So I don't think you need two apps.
So this kind of goes back to the point of we paid $14 to $16 billion for this. That's tax dollars.
Well, yeah, but you're getting control.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, you're taking over a bigger control of it. And like I said, now it falls under our rules and regulations this area, right? So while the information could be global, right? What you do with the information that we might have some degree of control over, or maybe that the information you get from people using it, we have
Right.
more control. You can't just release it to a country to manipulate the data or store that data. I don't know, but I got to believe these people aren't totally stupid. And if they're doing this deal, it's for a reason. And it must be a moneymaker, TikTok. I mean, there must be some revenue generating benefit to the people who are investing in it, or they wouldn't go to this extreme.
Right.
But what's interesting is what you were saying. TikTok is only as good as what's going on now, because we've gone through Facebook, we've gone through Instagram, we've gone through WhatsApp. It's like anything else. What's popular today? What's popular this year? And then all of a sudden everybody moves back to some other platform, and now TikTok's not as valuable anymore, right?
Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know what it is about TikTok that made it blow up so fast. I mean, that could just be Chinese promotion, but I mean, I guess the speediness of it, like I wish I can I'd have to do a psychological test on why people chose TikTok over Instagram. Like, I don't know what it was that just blew. I guess because kids can use it. It was supposed to be a dancing app, right? It was supposed to be for music, and it just evolved into not music. So.
Well, if I had to take a guess, the Chinese being as
manipulative.
I mean the Communist Party Chinese. I'm not insulting people.
Clip it. Someone clip it.
Yeah, not the Lao Beijing by any means. The rulers of the country, they manipulated it to. You don't even realize it, but it managed to be like the first thing you saw for every young kid out there, or they managed to somehow embed it into what we do to make sure that became a constant for the little manipulated minds that are easy to, they're just looking for eye candy on their phone. And that would be my guess, that a company like TikTok used whatever means necessary to make sure that they were in the face of every kid every time they got on their phone.
Right.
Until they just accepted it and started using it. But you're right. I don't know the whole background of it.
All right. Anything on the, anyone got anything to say about the TikTok stuff? Anything they want to throw out there? We'll give it a few.
Throw out there.
Throw it out there.
Away.
Just
lob away.
Shoot some lobs out there. Some bombs. Ugh. Man, I didn't realize how tired I was today.
Speaking of online idiots, can I segue to my little short one, which was big news this week, but I don't know if people saw it.
Go ahead.
So when Kennedy and Trump announced about the Tylenol.
Okay, I guess we are doing a transition.
Well, it's a transition because we're talking about social media and the impact of social media. And I'm not saying that to laugh because this is ridiculous. The individual pregnant women, as a form of protest, taking Tylenol and large amounts of it.
Right. Mom,
what are you trying to
Mom,
prove?
we have stupidity. Mom, you can't save stupidity. I almost didn't even want to talk about this one because I was like, well, these people are idiots.
But the idiot part of it is they do this, and now I follow up with Tylenol released something in 2017. This just goes to show you how it is a Trump derangement syndrome. Okay,
100%.
Totally Trump derangement syndrome. The company in 2017 said, we do not recommend taking this if you're a pregnant person.
Yeah. Okay.
And long before Trump, long before Kennedy. And one woman took so much she had to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
The husband took to the hospital. I mean, what are you trying to prove here? And I'm wondering, is this a form of child abuse? Should these people be arrested?
Well, I mean, it's 100% derangement syndrome because it's not like they're banning Tylenol. They just said, hey, we recommend you don't take it while you're pregnant. And think about it. What bothers me the most is, like, in America specifically, we have so many alternatives, but to prove a point, you're going to take Tylenol. Like, listen, even if Biden said, hey, stay away from Tylenol, I'd go, okay, just for safekeeping, like just out of safety, maybe I'll try something different. Yeah, right. Just in case Biden's right. But no, they're like, no, let me double that. Let me take 4 times the legal dosage of Tylenol when I don't have any symptoms. I'm just gonna take Tylenol to prove a point. And again, but I'll tell you this.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you this. In 9 months or 6 months, when we see all the babies being born and we see what those numbers are, we're going to have one hell of a statistic that's either going to prove Trump right or wrong.
Right, but this is also what I'm saying. Isn't this a form of child abuse? You know,
yeah.
to take a large amount online in front of everybody with the possibility. And I don't even care if Trump and the other one hadn't said anything. I don't know what OBGYN would say. Yeah, go ahead, take 10 Tylenol while you're pregnant. Okay? Meanwhile, I'm sure many of these women, because I know from my time, they didn't even want you eating too much tuna fish because there's mercury in it. And they're taking a synthetic made, what is it, ibuprofen or which one?
It's acetaminophen.
Okay, I just don't understand these individuals. I mean, that is by definition not only derangement syndrome, but I think it's a form of child abuse to do something specifically somebody said, to your point. I don't care if it's Biden saying it or his administration. Maybe you pause, say, well, I don't need it, so I'm not going to test it.
But I swear to God, this is where the shadow government comes in, because I think there's literally some guy going, let's just see what idiots there are out there. Let's just throw something out there and see how. Like, that's why I think The View exists. I still, listen, I'm not a conspiracy guy. Maybe a little bit. I truly think that the government put The View together to see how many idiots they could fool.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
But again, it just really is disgusting because they didn't harm themselves.
Did you hear about The View in Morgan Wallen? That's okay. So this went under the radar. Apparently, they did a pre-recording with Morgan Wallen and Whoopi Goldberg. And
who's Morgan Wallen? I don't know.
You know the country singer that Kenny loves? He's the one that dropped that hard ER a couple years ago and got in a lot of trouble.
Okay.
And they went on to win the CBT awards, like the #1. Okay, anyway. Apparently he goes out there because he got invited to The View, and Whoopi was kind of just like ripping into him, like, you're a white dude, like, what do you know? And he just went off on her and walked out, and they refused to release the episode, but apparently he like put her in the ground. And he's younger than me, I think. He's like maybe he's older, but again, they thought he was a stupid country kid, and then little did they know that he actually knew what he was talking about and how he was like, this is why no one watches real media anymore.
Right.
But it's a big deal because he's that younger generation that just proves like we're not watching this. So yeah, it's why Rogan's constantly doing 1 million views on every podcast.
I don't know if the listeners know, maybe we've talked about this, I don't know. I remember I watched the very first The View when it came out. And it was Barbara Walters, who was
dating yourself,
a well-known female, newscaster. She was one of the original women broadcasters who got the big interviews, right? Mm-hmm. Foreign dignitaries, whatnot. So she decided to do this. It was Debbie Matenopoulos, person I never even saw before, somebody's star, I can't think of her name, and Meredith Vieira, another female, and then one other person. And that was The View. And they had supposedly different, I don't remember if there's one really staunch conservative or whatever, but they had different viewpoints. And the idea was good. And guess what? That's what The Five is now on Fox News. The same type of thing where you have 5 different personalities, some liberal, some conservative. They come out and they talk about the news of the day. Perfectly fine. What they're missing and what I think The Five does better than The View does, because as it got bigger, now you're dealing with contracts and you got to pay all these women all this ridiculous amount of money. They don't mix it up enough, right?
I'm looking at the same
5 people all the time. Yeah, and it's nice to mix it up and get different people in. So like The Five, they have the same, Gutfeld always on and a few others. But every now and then they bring somebody new in and they change it up.
Listen,
so I think
when people come up to me, Mom, like someone asked me recently, Chris, are there lesser people in the world? And I said, yes, because there are people who get their news from The View. I don't know how Whoopi Goldberg has a job. I don't get it. Everything she says, just listening to her voice pisses everyone I know off. Like, how are the ratings for that? Like, I have to believe Kimmel's doing better than The View. Unless The View's just that bad, people tune in to get a laugh. I don't get it.
But didn't Joy Behar, I almost fell off my chair. I think I sent it to somebody, said, oh, hell just froze over. She agreed with Trump on something. I forget what it was. Oh, jeez.
Was that, she said some stupid shit, too. She was like, if you get rid of all the illegal immigrants, who's going to clean your toilets? And everyone was like, whoa. It's like, again, how do they put me on there? Give me a contract.
Joy Behar was a comedian. That's all she was.
Sure. I have a problem with that, though.
They just brought her on because she was funny, blah, blah, and all of a sudden they decided, oh, she has a political opinion.
Which is stupid.
Whatever. It is what it is. It's enough people watch it that they keep it going.
Yeah, but my only problem with the comedian thing, and this is where I think where Jimmy Kimmel has to be careful, yes, you're a comedian and you once were a comedian. There's a time and a place, but you can't say something that is straight up false news, like fake news, and then say, I'm a comedian, it was a joke. You can't hide behind the fact that you're a comedian for saying something that realistically is going to cause harm. You know what I mean?
No, that's what I'm not saying that about Jay Behar, that she can say anything. I'm saying she has no background. It's not like she's Barbara Walters, who interviewed, heads of state around the world and has some political background. Not saying that the woman doesn't know politics or whatever, but that's not her background. She was a comedian. They hired her and put her on the show. And by the way, as I recall, when she started on the show, she was like the low man on the totem pole, like, just fill the seat with Joy Behar. And then all of a sudden they elevated her because she started spouting all this stuff that, the people at that time were buying into. And now all of a sudden she's some sort of political analyst who could sit there and rip apart Trump and other people. I was like, okay, whatever. But for people who don't know the background and they just come on and say, oh, we got these 5 women who know so much about politics. Same thing with Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, she was an actress. She started as a comedian. She started as a comedian.
I have to say, watching Gutfeld rip that woman apart on his show, The Five.
Tarloff, yeah.
Whatever her name is, what an idiot that lady is to think that she was going to go up against Gutfeld. He put her in the dirt. I like that. I had an interesting idea for a show. Uh-oh.
I think we're missing, and this came out of Charlie Kirk, because you're seeing so much of he said this and people believing it, and then you watch the tape and that's not what he said, or he said something like that. Anyhow, they should do a debate show, left side, right side. I think people would watch it. And the difference is AI determines who's right. So if you do a video and they say, Charlie said this, and somebody, or not a video, one person debates, Charlie Kirk was racist. Okay, you said this, you said this. Well, the left side's going to believe the left, the right's going to believe the right.
So have an AI give you the answer.
Have an AI come in at the end and said, what did the video actually say? You mark my words. It'll never happen. You know why? The liberals will never do it.
Yeah. The problem with that is, well, first off, the show has to be called No Context. That'd be a dope name for a show like that.
Yeah.
Where basically you have 4 people get man, I don't even want to think about it, because I know that they're going to hire the 4 dumbest people to do that. They'd have to put me on there because I got to be on there, is my idea. So. Yeah.
I didn't mind, but okay.
No, but I mean, it could be a good idea.
If AI isn't manipulated, which that's something else that's going to come to the surface if people have seen these videos and AI comes in and says, oh, yes, Mr. Joe Liberal is absolutely right. Charlie Kirk did say all Jewish people should be killed. If AI comes in and it says, transparent and pulls the information, like I said, you mark my words, you will never have a show like that, because the liberals will not be able to sustain it. And there'll be some, don't get me wrong, there'll be some conservatives too that they think they know stuff and they don't. But we're back to that 9 times out of 10 rule. And after a while, the liberals aren't going to want to do it. If they cannot manipulate the information to reflect what they want to say, it's just, they're not comfortable with that. If you want true transparency, I would love a show like that. I would watch something like that. Give me and I want the referee, if you will, because remember, in debates, the news people are supposed to be the referees, and we've seen how corrupted that's been in the last couple of elections. Give me AI. If I'm stuck with that thing, let's use it for something worthwhile. Let it spout out. Give me the actual truth. Who's right here in this debate based on all your videos and whatnot?
Well, does debate...
Good idea.
Well, I was going to say, it's debate technically right or wrong, or is it, because a debate is a conversation. There's not really a right or wrong answer, usually, unless you're debating about something specific.
No, that's not true, because think about the election debates where they have fact checkers, right? We're going to fact check, and they fact check Donald Trump 7 times and the other person only once. So that's how you manipulate it.
Yeah, you're talking about it from more of a forensic standpoint. Like I always think of the right or wrong when they talk about a wife's dying of an illness that can't be cured. Guy has to break into a pharmacy to steal it because he can't afford it. Who's right or wrong? That's what moral questions. Because then I see what you're saying. I thought you meant moral questions.
No, but okay, so ICE is a violent Antifa organization. It should be stopped. Debate it.
Well,
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, the problem is I think
you have to bring facts.
Right.
You have to bring the facts.
I think the AI would say that it's the FBI because so little is released publicly online. A lot of it is redacted files. I think it would probably say the FBI and the CIA is like the greatest thing the U.S. has, which I think we all know that's not true. I don't know. I'd be curious.
I've seen mixed messages on AI about, well, ICE does attack citizens, blah, blah, blah. So, no, I wouldn't. And that's why I say I don't know.
Right, because it's just going to pull.
AI.
Yeah, it's just going to pull from news articles anyway. So.
Right.
Yeah.
But you would think that as AI, if it's so wonderful as everybody tells me, it's going to pull conservative and liberal, and it's going to bring it down into statistically what is actually true. Or something as simple as Charlie Kirk was a racist. Let's debate it. Okay. Liberal comes in with his facts. The conservative comes in with her facts. Okay. AI says, you know what? The facts on one side are more accurate based on all the articles we have. Right. I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, a liberal's going to lose, because that's always been, if you notice when they debate, it's never about facts. It's opinions. They don't like to do facts. Look at the Charleston hoax, right? For Donald Trump on that video. That's how they started this whole "we hate Trump" derangement. Never said what most liberal media people said. Whether you like them or not, AI would at that time say, well, this is the actual thing he said. That would have dispelled it right then and there. But you can't have facts, right? Then you can't manipulate them. Anyhow, it's just my idea of a show. I'm like, well, how do you get past the moderator? Because we know that's screwed up from debates. How about AI?
Yeah. All right. Any comments on that?
Someone's going to steal my idea. You watch.
Any comments, anyone?
Your mother is crazy.
Yep, a little bit.
Oh, crazy like a fox, Chris. Crazy like a fox.
Matt Sprague just said, did you see what Candace Owens just posted? And I'm scared. Instagram story revealing major news about Tyler maintains his innocence and has never been to the UVU campus. There are absolutely zero photos of video that the campus can produce to the contrary.
About whom? Who was never there?
Tyler Robbins was never actually there. I don't know. I have to look more into it before we start making claims, okay? We can't have breaking news on the podcast and have it be wrong, okay?
Unbelievable.
We're doing our justice. He's never been to that campus, so he wasn't even a student there. All right, Sprague. Sprague's going down a rabbit hole here. It's always during the podcast. Yeah, he's Canadian. But what do you care? Yeah. Go. Take your hockey pucks. Go up there somewhere.
Go play some hockey. Go wait online for medical care. Leave us alone.
See, Matt Sprague always throws in basically his dad's a government liar and knows it's not his son. It's like, okay, everyone's a government liar apparently. I don't know. I have to look more into it. I'm not saying Matt's wrong, but we'll see.
Listen, it's Canada. Isn't that a Commonwealth of the UK? And don't they want digital ID?
I was gonna. Yeah, that was a good segue. But again, no segues because people have things to say.
Oh, sorry, no segueing.
I mean, I guess no one's really commenting on that one, but okay. So we could go right to the digital IDs. So UK just announced. So the reason I brought this one up is because this is the path that we're going down, which is let's let immigrants in to the illegal migrants in to the point where, okay, we need some kind of government system. Oh, here you go, digital IDs. So the UK just announced that you cannot have a job in the UK unless you have a digital ID saying that you are a citizen of the UK. We're getting to dangerous territory. I think UK is going to fall before China or any of these other. I mean, given it's already what feels like a failed state. So, I don't know. There wasn't much. Yeah. Farage, yeah.
Everybody wants Nigel. Nigel Farage's party. Was it the Reform UK?
I hope so. Yeah. Names. But, you saw that protest of 1 million people. All the freaking news articles. How, clearly these people can't even count, let alone do an actual news report, because to say that was 100,000 people, that was at least I don't know what there was more than 100,000 at that rally or whatever you want to call it. That was like one step below a revolution. So,
well, they keep saying there will be a civil war in the UK. There's going to be a civil war in the UK. I don't know. Hopefully it does not get to that point, because civil wars are not pleasant, especially in the Western world. You don't expect that in countries with democracies. You don't expect that. You really don't. I mean, not to say we haven't had our own civil war, but it's always amazing to me in all these countries, including especially the Western world, they're not listening to their people. And that's a problem. To me, that's not a civil war. That's the masses taking on their government. That's very different. Is it a civil war if I'm fighting with illegals in my country? That's not a civil war. A civil war is when you're fighting amongst yourselves, like us, the North versus the South, right?
Right.
So I think they're trying to make this into half the country believes this. No, they don't. The citizens of this nation, they do not want this. They are tired of, the free speech is a joke over there now. And it seems as though like they're doubling and tripling down since J.D. Vance was over there and called them out and they all went crazy. And that's exactly what's going on. They are crushing free speech in the UK and they're getting really blatant about it. So I'm happy to see that the people are pushing back. Let's see if this digital ID lasts because this government, they're a parliamentary democracy. So what happens in Europe, and if any of our listeners,
I always love when they yell at each other. I always love it.
Well, it's not that. They don't have like what we have, where you have an election, you pick one person from one party or the other.
Right.
What they have is a coalition. So the majority then gets to pick their prime minister. Right. So the majority people in parliament of a particular group. That's why they keep saying Nigel Farage is going to be the next prime minister. Wishful thinking, but as more and more people are turning towards the party and more of the party is joining coalitions with other parties that are conservative, it pushes pressure on the prime minister who exists. If he can't maintain the majority of the parties in parliament, he has to go or he has to do an election. I'm summarizing, but that's basically, it's different than us. So as more and more people, and you see it in your article, more and more people are leaning more towards Nigel Farage's party and they're making a statement. We don't want this garbage anymore. It's out of control. You can do this digital ID stuff, but if the people don't want it, good luck. They wanted to do this during COVID, if you all remember. And
it was
America.
It was a slippery slope. That's why I'm saying, the UK gave in. BBC is just an outright propagandist media. Oh, 100%. That's why That's why I try to just grab the articles that are just facts, no opinion. Because I'm with you. I don't need someone's opinion.
Right. The elitists of any country, communists or whatever, they are so intent. We got to get people digitized because that's how you can control them.
Yeah.
Right? So if I have Christopher Catucci, I don't know if you use names, but if I have Christopher digitized.
Well, too late now.
Sorry. If you have Chris digitized, if I don't like what he's saying, what they're literally doing over there.
We don't see you on here as a digital ID. You can't get a job here. That's what's going to end up happening.
Or no, you can't access your bank account anymore.
Yeah.
We decided that you didn't meet the numbers for the credit score. It's always about a credit score, behavioral score. That's how you control people. And that's why as citizens in our country, no freaking way. That's a hill to die on. You're not going to control us in that way. Try doing that over here in America. They tried it with the COVID and that shut down pretty damn fast. So I just don't see Americans complying or, I'm shocked. We'll see what the backlash is over this with the British.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah. So, anything on that, guys? Anything anyone wants to add? Is anyone pro? Is anyone pro IDs? Probably not. I don't think our viewers are ever going to be pro IDs. I think my viewers are too smart. Well,
considering we just give them out here without any, here's your license, here's your this, we're finding massive amounts of DMV.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We're just handing them out.
Yeah, we're finding out the statistics on how many people drive without a license. It's so bad. The fact that there's not more, well, they get arrested, so it's not like they don't get arrested, but yeah. I guess speaking of ministers, did you see that Albania is having their first AI minister? Where is it?
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's a woman, right?
Fully AI. Now, I don't know. I watched the video of them releasing this thing, and it has to like justify itself, which is hilarious. So it's like I am a machine. I have no reason. I'm not looking for money. I have no emotions. I have no reason, right? And her job, AI minister, is to basically stop corruption. So she watches for any. The way it sounds like they're doing it, and I don't know how you would really be able to do this, is they basically have everything like their FBI and CIA tied into this AI that is going to check any fraudulent finances, anything like, why did this guy pay $500 for a bolt, right? Yeah. Stuff like that. The problem is now you have an AI deep rooted in a government system. Yeah. So, Mom, it's the start. It's the start of the what's it called when machines take over? It's apocalypse, but the synchronization.
Dehumanization, yeah.
No, synchronization.
Well, the funny part is, I read the tone of this article. Obviously, this person thinks this is a joke. This whole government. They have no respect for the guy who seems they're implying or alleging that
I'm just surprised
every election in Rama. Yeah. But look at her. They have her in traditional dress, right? Nobody dresses like that in Albania unless you're celebrating Heritage Day. So this guy puts her in this, they design her to have this outfit on to make it look like some traditional Albanian. And then turns out she's an AI individual. And the article is funny. He's like, like trying to make her just like the rest of his cabinet, which is basically a joke. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said.
I'm just surprised that Albania has the finances to run this AI supercomputer. Yeah. Yeah, are they just their taxes went up by 1,000% to run this lady?
But hey, she could be my moderator on the debate show if it doesn't work out.
That's true. But it's just on a serious note. It is very weird. You know, for like the last year, maybe 2 years now on the podcast, we've been talking about, man, how fast is this going to happen? We're all okay. As of 2 days ago, whenever this was, we now have an AI running government. One of the governments.
She doesn't run government, but she's
takes a major point. Well, now it just goes up from here. Now it just keeps moving up. We just see how she does until we're gonna have our first AI president. We're getting there. That singularity's coming. So.
Well, it's an interesting thought. If in fact, which we don't, it's not necessarily true, but if in fact you could develop an entity that is purely unbiased, strictly goes by law, imagine an AI judge. Here's the law, here's the crime, here are the facts. You're guilty. This is your judgment, and either we have cashless bill, we don't, and you're let go. Imagine that there's no bias. In theory, there's literally no bias. So it's a magistrate that's not a human being that brings bias to the table. So as much as I want to say, that's not good, I want to judge, but to me, that's what a judge is supposed to be. Impartial, no bias, goes strictly by the laws that exist, right? Right. And the punishment strictly by what they're allowed to do based on the ramifications. Where we have a difference for better and for worse is when judges say things like, all right, I'm going to release you even though you just murdered somebody, which, believe it or not, we know that's been happening. Imagine AI that would say, I can't do that. I'm not programmed, or the laws does not say that. So I don't know. It's a debate worth having. Maybe there are some jobs that are designed purely for AI because there's no bias.
Right.
They're not supposed to be. If we could do that, it's an interesting thought, right?
Yeah, we're getting there, though. We're getting there. All right. Let's do, I don't know if anyone has anything to say on the AI. I doubt it, but I think the big one this week, Hexit surprise gathering of top military. You and I talked about this before. Yeah. Okay, there's two ways of looking at this. And Laffy, I know you're going to want to talk about this one because I know I'm sure your family has talked about this a bit. Is this us preparing for war, Mom? Or is this let's get rid of all the shitty generals and high-ranking members that we don't need anymore? Is this a cracking down, or is this a let's prepare?
I think I'm going to say it's both, and I'll tell you why. We did talk about this. So on September 30th, so that's next Tuesday, our government will shut down for all major services. They just keep the emergency stuff if we don't have a budget. So in anticipation of a possible government shutdown, I think all the divisions, as I told you, Trump has already said, start looking for ways to do reductions in force. So, in other words, I believe in a smaller government. I think it's a behemoth and it's costing us a fortune. And now we know we're just getting ripped off as taxpayers.
Yeah.
Nobody's watching where our money goes. It's ridiculous. So, having said that, I think that this is one way to take advantage of a bad situation and start scaling down, right? So no more of this game playing. And I think the Department of War is another group, a huge suck of our tax dollars, by the way. The budget for the War Department is huge, okay? Not to say it isn't worth it if they're doing their job, but I think that this is an opportunity for them to bring the main guys in and say, listen, get on board with the program or get out of the program, right? We're now the Department of War. Our business is war, winning wars, waging wars, what defense and whatever. It's not transgenders in the military or, I don't like our president, the commander in chief, and therefore I'm not going to do my job, like that kind of mentality. You can have different opinions, but whatever. So I think it's a combination of that. I don't think, to say, oh, are they preparing for a war? They're always prepared for a war. We're always supposed to be. That's called defense. You always have to be prepared. And there's a certain logic to, I think it's, the U.S. is always supposed to be, like the military readiness has always been, you should be able to fight, I think it's three major scale
wars,
combat, whatever, conflicts at once anywhere in the world. Like that's the minimum standard that they try and do. And I'm throwing out a number. I think it's something like that. We were nowhere near that based on what I heard some retired military high-level people say, a year or two ago. They're like, you're kidding yourself. If many of you guys remember, there was all sorts of problems out with the Navy. They were crashing the boats. How many helicopters have been crashing with servicemen in it? And on top of that, now we're finding out all this DEI stuff where not necessarily the best people are being put in these jobs. When President Obama came in, they didn't talk about it. He fired a lot of generals and a lot of high-level people who tend to be more conservative. So all these underlings got elevated, and next thing you know, we have to start dealing with DEI and some things going on in the military, and they're not getting properly trained. So I think this is an opportunity for this administration to say, let's get back to the business of what we're supposed to do. We're getting a ridiculous amount of money to fight wars, not to fly flags, not to, lose people in Afghanistan and military and whatnot. We have to get our act together. So I think this is all part and parcel, and it ties in with, the government shutdown coming up. Right. Maybe there are just too many people. My understanding is a lot of people, too many layers of high-level people. And you got to pay those people, right? And we may not need them.
Yeah, I was just curious. I have nothing to add to this because I kind of figured that either one, we were preparing for war, or we were cutting generals that have been admitted or appointed by Biden and Obama. Probably not Trump. So more so Biden at this point. But, yeah.
I don't think, I've touched this before. I'll say it very quickly. I don't think citizens, myself included, and I'm obviously much older than you, I never knew what it was like for military people in the sense of when I heard Marines had to buy their own uniforms. And when I see stories where these military people, their pay gets docked for food.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me? I just can't even fathom this, that this goes on in our country. And I didn't know this. I really I wish some of our service people who retired who are in government, Tom Cotton and when John McCain, how come none of them have ever brought this to our attention? As a taxpayer, I want to know this. Maybe I agree with it, but I think a lot of people don't really know how our military is funded and what these people have to do and how many of the families can't make ends meet. Like they're not making money. They go to food pantries. This is outrageous in the United States of America. And meanwhile, one of the reasons why we might shut down government is because the Democrats want more medical care for illegals. Okay, let's think about that for a minute. And we've got our service members who can't even make ends meet in some of these families. Or young men that can't fly home to see their family because they can't afford it and they can't get a jumper flight. Because, you get a lot of poor people who join the military. God bless him. That's his future because he can't go to college, can't get a job, and he wants to serve his country. And, you get benefits after your tour duty. So I wish somebody would do an in-depth so citizens understand, guess what? This is what if you join the military, this is what you're faced with. I think people would be outraged with some of the stuff they hear.
Anything to add, anyone? I mean, I guess we can go into this one. Yeah, I was going to ask you, because I think this was probably the bigger of the news this week, was that they indicted Comey. Finally. Yeah. I think it's probably it's kind of what everyone's feeling. How do you think this is going to go down, Mom?
I think the media is trying to make it as though it's not a big deal, right? He'll get out of it, whatever. And then when I see the recent switch of the attorney generals in the Eastern District of Virginia, the man who was running it, who was slow walking it, and Trump got in trouble because he said, I can't believe this guy's slow walking. I want him fired. It turns out somehow I think Comey's family member, his son-in-law works there in that group. He just left. Someone's godfather related to the guy who was running.
Yeah, it's like a whole. I saw Tim Dillon. Tim Dillon talked about it on his podcast. Like they're all related. Like someone's married to someone.
Right, and it was a case of, well, they didn't have enough. We don't have enough evidence, and now they bring this other woman in, and now all of a sudden he's getting indicted. And I do think there is evidence. The question is, and I'm not sure, where will they take this up? If it's in D.C., won't matter what the evidence is. They'll slap him on the wrist, and he'll take a walk. The interesting part is, everything by the book. And now you got who was a C-SPAN. Even she was saying, he didn't do everything by the book. That's been proven already. And the statute of limitations for this indictment was about to expire, I think, on the 30th of this month. Would have been 5 years. So they needed to bring the indictment now. And I think it's justified because I watched the tapes when he testified based on what we know now. So it'll be an interesting case to see how they're going to get out of this one. What's he going to do to try and get out of it? And as an aside, 86-47, right? This is how arrogant these people are when you write that in shells. And you are the Attorney General, or was, of the United States. Or, I'm sorry, the head of the FBI. And you put in seashells 86-47. And you're outraged.
Explain what that means. I don't even know what that means.
Well, that was last spring.
I don't even remember.
He got into a big kerfuffle because he wrote in the sand. He claimed, I don't know, he came upon it at the beach.
Oh.
It said 86-47 in shells.
Which means to take out the president, right? I think that's what that meant. Yeah.
Trump's 47, 86 means he kills somebody. Ha ha, really funny. Even if he didn't do it, why would you post that? Yeah. You're the ex-director of the FBI, because this is the arrogance of these individuals. They think that they are untouchable.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some fun news. Tony Hawk's skateboard, from his first 900 sells for $1.15 million. This was big. Yep. This was big. This
is the board he used when he scored the 900 at the X Games in San Francisco.
Mom, he didn't score a 900. It was the first 900. The 900 is 3 rotations. Well, 2 full rotations.
Okay, all right. So I said it
Get it right. 2 full rotations, okay. Mom. He was the first man to ever do it. The Indy 900.
Anyhow, in June of 99, and other stuff, they sold other stuff too, like the helmet.
Yeah,
where is it?
64,000 his sneakers for 57,000.
Yep.
10 times.
But I like the idea. Wow. He said he hopes it goes to whoever bought it. I think he said he hopes that somebody appreciates skateboarding, and I think he's going to use the money to put towards the skate park for underprivileged kids in a certain area. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what's amazing is I think within the last couple of years, he redid that trick. And let me tell you, I mean, of course, he's Tony Hawk, so it makes sense, but he's got a sick skate park at his house. It's so cool. I was like, let me do it. 2.5. It's 2.5, right? Laffy, you didn't have to attack me like that, right? So 720 is 2 spins. I should know this because I've been playing skate with Sprague. 2 spins would be a 720, and then the other half. Right? Yeah. That's a 900. And then a full is a what? 1008. Listen, No, can't be. 360 plus. It's gotta be 1060. No, 1260. 1260. God. Thank God I didn't become like an accountant or something. Thank God I didn't take math in college. Screw math. I don't even do basics anymore. I was counting the other day and I shouldn't tell that
Counting?
story.
Really? You were counting? Oh,
I had to
gosh.
count something, and I was like, "What am I doing wrong?" I was doing well, so it was. I forget what I was doing, but yeah, just don't. If a viewer ever wanted to embarrass me, if I was like winning in a debate, just hand me like a thing of math, and I'd be like, I'd look like an idiot at this point. It's been so long. Do this integral. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not doing integrals. But yeah, I gotta. Tough.
We'll keep it simple with you.
Yeah.
Keep the math
2 +
simple.
2 4. Huntington's disease treat. God, this. Speaking of which, there's been so many diseases that we've been able to cure just in like this last month. Right, we've cured diabetes. Russia claims that
we didn't cure diabetes.
China
we
just cured it. China just found, again, allegedly, with China, they just found they have the ability to cure type 1 and type 2 diabetes.
I gotta see that one. I haven't.
Check it.
Cutting the kidneys out of people doesn't count.
Transferring them, yeah. No, they used. I forget what it was. I think it was stem cell research.
Well, this gene therapy is kicking ass, I got to tell you. So treatment for Huntington's disease, as we know, it's hereditary. So it's very frightening because young people can test and find out in like their 20s that they're going to have Huntington's because their parent had it, which is scary. It kills brain cells with a single gel. So you have a single gene defect, and it slowly kills your brain cells. It causes paralysis, dementia, and eventually death. So it is a death sentence at a young age. So now they're doing gene therapy to slow down the progression by 75% after 3 years, which is amazing.
So it's not a cure; it's a slowing process.
It slows it down to the point where they're hoping you can live with it, and eventually they can eradicate it. What's fascinating, though, and it's a concern because it'll take a while. It's a single shot during a 12 to 20 hour surgery where they have to put the shot directly into two areas, they say, of the brain. The gene has instructions that they put into this area that takes the bad protein, which is the Huntington protein, or Huntington it's called. It uses a virus to deliver a modified DNA into those neurons to fix that gene defect. So they're very, very encouraged, and the people they interview, obviously young people who, this is like fabulous for them because their alternative was they were just going to die at a young age, and it was going to be a horrible death, paralysis, dementia, all that stuff. So this gives them a whole lot of hope. But yeah, this gene stuff and stem cell stuff is really cutting edge in terms of taking a turn over our abilities to treat so many diseases and syndromes, right?
Right. Well, yeah, as I said, we've been stem cells, gene editing, all this stuff. Like, we're getting there. Even CRISPR's been having some amazing new things happen. So I was debating with someone recently, like, if you could, like, say you knew your kid was going to come out with some kind of defect, now would you change it if you could? I would think so.
Yeah, I had an article for our thing, I think it was from the company, CRISPR, about that. The things that they're able to do now with embryos.
Right.
And it's always been a slippery slope. You always have this slippery slope. Oh, of course, I don't want my child to have a disease. Oh, yeah, that always sounds great. And that's what they always highlight. What they don't highlight is I only want girls and no boys. Or I only want sons, no daughters. I have 2 sons, I want 2 daughters now. That's where we start to get into a weird area. And there are those parents who would debate, no, my child's deaf doesn't make him lesser. Right?
But it does, right? Because you're handicapping him.
Well, you're not intentionally. I'm saying that's
right. But if you could, I don't want to say fix. Fix isn't the right word. But if you wanted them to, I feel like at that point you're kind of ruining their life when you could have had, like, you shouldn't be the one making that decision, but you have to, right? Because you can't ask them. But I just feel like if you know that you can change your son's or daughter's deafness, and you decide not to, you're kind of screwing your kid in the long run.
Well, maybe deafness is the wrong one, or sight. They're not necessarily the best things to use. But for instance, Down syndrome. There are many people who reject the fact that there's a there's something wrong with a Down syndrome.
But the average
person.
lifespan is like 35 years, right?
Right,
So,
but that is improving. It's just more the point of.
but if we're improving it, like improving it with trying to do ways of improving it, if you could just quote unquote cure it, then what's the point of improving it? Because we've already finished. Like you're improving something and wasting resources when we could just finish it.
Right.
Right.
Personally, I like that alternative to just aborting them. So we will never
Right.
have, like mandatory. You have to get rid of all Down syndrome children. That way, we never have any.
Like the Spartans.
I don't think that's the answer. I mean, I think if of the two things, at least you're bringing the human being into the world and they're able to live and function. But there is something to be said, for this is a human being. So what? So a kid who can't do math, should we get rid of you because you're too stupid to do math?
Oh,
exactly.
Everyone but me.
That's a slippery slope. Like, who am I to say?
Right, but one is
they have limitations.
Yeah, but one is when it comes to math. I mean, that's just me being an idiot. whereas, like, you can't control Down syndrome, right?
No, but all right. So take autism. That's another one. Okay. So Elon Musk never should have been born because he's autistic.
Right, but and then also you could make the argument that he wouldn't be where he is if he wasn't autistic, right? So
right,
yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. Do we have a right to start playing God in that sense? And what we deem as is not appropriate. Okay, maybe hearing's not a good choice. Of course, it'd be great to hear things, hear music, hear things, and learn and whatnot. Other aspects, like to be autistic has always been a stigma, but now we're finding, especially parents who are with functioning autistic children, like high functioning, not those who can't communicate.
That's why you were pumping the Tylenol on yourself when you were having me.
That's why I took all that Tylenol.
That's why accoutrement, all that is pseudomedicine.
That's why you can't do math. I should have taken more, and you'd be no.
I'd be in Harvard.
In Harvard right now. You'd be autistic in Harvard. But that's my point. It's like what we deem as being a negative, now people are looking at it differently, saying, you know what, autistic people, they just look at things differently. Doesn't mean the high functioning ones are lesser. They just have a different way of looking at stuff mentally. Their brain works differently. Right. Anyhow, I just get a little bit concerned when we start manipulating genes and whatnot. Like they have ones where, well, wouldn't you want your child to be smarter, right? If we took the brain gene or whatever, we upped it, amped it. There's some parents that are trying to manipulate the genes to get the smartest, quote unquote, smartest embryo out of all of them. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah. I really wonder what side effects and downsides we will find from these gene therapy techniques in 20 years. Good point. But also, I mean, the gene, like it's going to come undone? like that's got to be something from a horror movie. When the genes come undone when you're in your mid-20s and you turn old or something. How horrible would that movie be, Mom? Here's a movie. This guy meets the woman of his dreams, right? Woman of his dreams, and then time goes on, and then the joke is, or the premise is, his genes become undone, and he becomes Down syndrome.
Oh, gosh.
Then he has to convince her. And then the finale is she loves him for him, but no, or she leaves him. That'd be a crazy movie.
Love on a different spectrum.
Yeah.
Love on a changing spectrum.
It's all about the genes.
All about the genes, but no, the person has a good point. I mean,
it'd be a wild
if you change genes, what impact will that have on other parts of you, since it's almost like they all work together with their instructions? If you change the instructions for the better in one area, how does that impact the instructions in another area? Right. I don't know enough about genetics to say good about the other, but it's an interesting thought because we're just assuming, oh, great, I fixed the hearing in the ear. That's great, but does that now alter the shape of the ear down the road, or the hairs in the ear, and now they have other issues down the road, right?
Well, the other thing we haven't talked about is what about the people that are perfectly fine and now want the advancements? Because once you get to the advancements, like, hey, you can have better vision, you can have better strength, you can have then we're in a tricky territory. Because to your point,
well, that's what I'm saying with the embryos. We're picking the embryos that have the greatest likelihood of being the most intelligent. I forget what they use for that, but they look at the gene sequencing and they say, oh, they got this from the father and this from the mother, and they're both really highly intelligent people. So because they have this embryo has the most of those, therefore it's going to most likely be the brightest of all the embryos. So what do? Destroy the stupid ones? It's like, where are we going with this? Yeah.
Well, no.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't have to do that, Enzo. You didn't have to send money. Hello, Pancake and Mama Cakes. Appreciate your time for the podcast. Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, my mom. Thanks, bud. Now my mom takes 75%. Good job.
Get out of here. Just lying.
My mom holds me at gunpoint. She's like, "Where's my 75% of the podcast?" I'm like, "Mom, it's my channel. Like, what the fuck?"
Baloney. Full of it.
Thank you, Enzo. You didn't have to do that.
Yes, thank you.
All right. That's pretty much all we have for articles. So now we just open up the table to anyone that wants to ask any other questions, random things that we've been doing, things you've been wondering. I'm excited for next week because we get to do not only the podcast with you, me, and Grandma, hopefully, if Grandma wants to do it.
I haven't told her that yet.
Yeah, but and then we also have to do the apartment tour because we've never done an apartment tour.
We didn't?
No, I've never done an apartment tour for this, and a lot has changed since the one that we did like 5 years ago in the basement. My mom's currently sitting at my former desk.
I just want to break in for a second. It's 6-3 Oregon. Not good. Not good.
6-3 Oregon? What the hell was that?
Oregon versus Penn State at the White
House.
Oh,
we're losing? Oh, crap.
Well, it's not really we, because you and I
didn't go to Penn State. Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Your brother's going to be really, really crabby, two of them. And this is a big game because Penn State never plays anybody good at the whiteout game. Because, it's like homecoming. You don't want to lose at a homecoming. So, anyhow, your brother had me hyped about this. He's like, this is a big game, Mom. This is even bigger than the playoffs because it's all a whiteout game. Anyhow, for those of you who care about Penn State or Oregon, Oregon's now winning. Okay, go ahead. What were you saying?
Nothing. I was just opening it up to anyone that had any questions for us on the podcast.
Oh, and the big week ahead with next week's.
Do we do me, Aunt Sue cooking show too? Oh my God, we could get a lot done in this weekend.
Oh gosh. Now, I don't want to step on Souffle's toes.
Don't you dare step on Souffle's toes.
I don't want to take her on there. Although she's been on the podcast with us, right?
She has. That is true. Yeah. That was a long time ago.
It was, right?
We could do that one too. You, me, Aunt Sue, but someone has to watch Graham. You, me, Aunt Sue, and Graham?
Oh, jeez.
When everyone just starts yelling at each other?
That's more like an intervention. That's not a podcast.
That's why I have to start using my psych degree. That's where my psych degree comes in.
Yeah. Grandma started going off on some tangent today, and I looked at the young girl next to me. I go, oh, geez, coffee's not going to do it. We better go get a liquor store. My mother's going down the path of a divorce. And then she went off on some other tangent.
Oh, was she?
And I looked at, Then she went off on some other tangent. I looked at her and I go, I'm not kidding. Is there some psych person in this place? Because it was
right.
And then bring her in. Go get her. Go find her.
How do you feel about the new blue jay species discovered in Texas? Ooh, interesting. I'm not a big bird person. I have to say, like, I'm not a bird watcher. Like, I don't really give a shit about birds. They're all the same to me. But at our house in New Jersey, we get cardinals and blue jays. There is something pretty amazing about, like, when you see a blue jay or a cardinal in person, you're like, whoa, that's different. Same with peacocks and whatever, but you only see those.
Is this the Texas breeding bird you're talking about?
I don't know. Let's take a look. Let's take a look.
Blue jay, the Texas breeding bird atlas.
Tell me it looks sick.
I don't know if that's a good picture, but I feel the bluebirds here in New Jersey are a brighter
way brighter,
blue.
Yeah.
This is like a slate gray. It's pretty.
Yeah. As I have a terrible picture of it looking at me. And I'm like, oh yeah, pretty. Unless it's the one with the mohawk. That'd be pretty dope.
Well, no, it has a blue jay look to it. That's that same like headpiece, the same big, but like I said, unless it's the picture, it doesn't look like a vibrant blue. I don't mind it. It's pretty. I like the shade.
Yeah.
But it's so much easier to spot them here because they're that brighter blue.
Has this been off this whole time? Yeah. Well, you guys know what I mean. Oh, that might be why. Boom. There we go. I'm not used to that. Hold on.
So if I can pull that up.
Yeah,
look at that.
He's got a little mohawk. I don't know if you saw this one. You literally just said it's so pretty, and this is the picture I was looking at, and I was like, I don't know about that.
That's not pretty. Ooh, that's an ugly duckling.
That's
That's the grue jay, a rare hybrid songbird. I don't think that's the
hybrid.
same thing.
Hybrid song.
Yeah, that's not the same thing as
First
the
known
one I
hybrid.
know.
Oh, whoa. Hold on. Is that it? Look at the feathers on that thing. Spotted in
Well,
Texas.
yeah, that kind of looks like the one. That's why I said the picture's not very good that I'm looking at. Yeah, that's very bright blue.
That is cool. Okay, I take back what I said. It appears to be a new hybrid between a blue jay and a green jay. I didn't even know a green jay was a thing.
Yeah, look
I only
at
knew
that.
a red jay.
Oh, so wait a minute. It's the bird in the middle. So it's a hybrid between the one on the left and the right. Yeah, so it's that muted color.
Oh, so that's the green jay on the right.
I'm guessing from the picture when you're saying it's a result mating between a male blue jay and the green one.
Damn, I've never noticed the feathers on that one on the left. That's crazy.
Look at the face on the green one. That's incredible. Look at those colors.
Yeah.
That mix of blues.
All right, we'll get one for the podcast.
Yeah.
Let's go grab one. Let's take a cage. Do you think AI is going to be a positive force for humanity, or is it going to kill us all? Okay. Well, very doom and gloom and very absolute. I like that. I mean, how often do we talk about this? This is like, I feel like this is every podcast for us. I think eventually it is going to kill us, but I think there's going to be a lot of good things that come from it in the beginning until you have that one AI that everyone, like, eventually what's going to happen is all the countries, you're going to have a world summit where they go one AI that controls all. And that's going to come at some point, probably not in our lifetime, but as we just saw today, I mean, now they're starting to get into government. And now I go, okay, this is not good. I don't think it's going to quote unquote kill us. Like, I don't think we're going to have a Terminator situation, but I think you're going to have a crippling AI that's going to control a lot of things that should not be controlled. Right? Oh, you want small government? Great. Here's a small government. It's an AI that controls everything. one AI that controls all. So right. I'm more upset. I think the first thing that's going to happen, it's going to kill all jobs. That's number one. I mean, that's not even a question. They're already talking about that. So,
I like
to, we can talk about that. And so that's a good question.
As negative as it is, I harken back to AI like the Terminator, right? Yeah. So Schwarzenegger played the bad guy in the first one, where he comes back. He's AI. He's got to kill the guy, right? But yet the spin on it was he winds up coming back in the sequels, where he's the good guy.
Yeah.
And the one who's trying to kill doesn't believe it. So she's trying to get away from him. Meanwhile, he's trying to save her. And I just thought, oh, that's an interesting spin on AI. We all think it's... Right. AI is just AI. It's going to do whatever you tell it. So if it's going to destroy us, it will destroy you. But if you manipulate it and say, no, you got to save us, it could work to save us, you know? It's only as good as what you do.
The job one is what scares me the most, because you're going to have those people, especially our generation, who doesn't want to work, say, oh, I can have an AI do my job. Yay. Like, finally. Whereas people don't realize the downsides to that. The fact that no one's working and someone else is technically getting paid for you until that robot goes, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. And then you're screwed.
Well, and not only that, it just, again, human nature, and people will debate, well, that's why we don't need humans. Humans have to work.
Right.
And they need to socialize, or they emotionally wither over time. It's like ants. They're social animals. They have to be in communities. Humans are the same way. You know, you do have people that, I don't want to be around people. But as a species, we need to socialize. We need to mate. You know, that's how we keep going. And when you create an environment where you don't need to get up, you know, everyone thinks, oh, great, I have to go to work.
You're speaking my language. You're speaking my language, Mom.
What kind of human beings are we if we just sit in a chair all day, right? Eat and sleep. There's no real point where machines do everything for us. There's no quality of life, or there's no meaning of life, right?
True. Hey, this is a good question. Can Mama Cakes go into the background story behind those maps she has? My mom's severely autistic. Yeah. My mom has a thing for maps. Go ahead. Yeah, you can tell them. I mean, it's not anything crazy.
Yeah, those are my maps of locations that they're probably going to zoom in and try and find us. But
yeah, good luck.
We're looking for our next home right now that we're semi-retired and we finally got Chris out of the house.
Yeah.
Chris left, so we got the maps.
Yeah.
We're out of here.
The second it was crazy is that my whole life they talked about moving. The second I moved out, they're like, it's time to go.
Yeah. It's pretty sad when I hear my mother's 93-year-old boyfriend on the phone say, "You've been talking about them leaving for 20 years now."
That is
God,
fun. You can't,
right.
you can't deny that that's not true.
I know. So yeah, finally we got maps out. And we're trying to find a brand new place. So I put them up there because when you go online and I have no clue some of these places. I try to figure out where they are. So I jump over to the wall and I look them up to see. And I'm somebody, Chris could probably tell you, I'm very visual. I'm not good with the tiny maps. I need to see it in the overall picture. And then I can zoom in.
Yeah.
That's why I have a problem with Waze and stuff. Like, I need to see the whole area. And I'm kind of old school, like your grandmother. She loves maps. She pulls it out, opens up at the kitchen table. In the car, she's got to see where she is.
Yeah, that's
I'm not that bad, but I do like to know the overall picture. So I see houses all the time, and I don't know where they are in location. So having the maps, and believe it or not, it's not a very good representation, but these maps over here are actually two states that are together, even though one's flapping in the wind. But I spent one day like cutting it, trying to line up the highways to make sure I had the two states together. Didn't work that well, but it's close enough. I get the gist.
If you can guess the two
those
states.
are my maps.
Could they guess the two states just based on the picture?
One day we'll podcast and those won't be there anymore, and you'll know we found a house.
Yeah, really. Well, as I said, I think it's going to be really cool when you guys move out and we can do a full tour of the house, go through memory lane with Kenny and Mike, because we're going to be the ones moving everything. So then you guys can see the full house and not just see the helicopter pad, see the pools, see all that stuff. Right. Dad's 24-car garage. Laffy said, "Get out of New Jersey. We've been trying for 20 years."
I've been trying longer. I wanted out of here for a while ago, but the kids were in school and father was working, and then when he was remote, I'm like, "Can we go now?" No.
Yeah.
Wait till the kids go. Okay, fine. So.
Yeah, and now Dad's worked for home for like 15 years, so it's like, oh yeah, why didn't we move? But,
finally Mike was out. I think once Mike was done.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what really kind of motivated us to say, all right, now it's time to really go.
And then Grandma came. And then Grandma came. Then Grandma broke her. Then Grandma broke her ankle, her shoulder, her arm, wrist.
Yeah, poor thing. Yeah.
All in the span of like 9 months.
Well, she's funny today. She's telling these people how her husband's retiring and they're going to downsize. And I looked at the girl. Little does she know, we're looking at houses that are even bigger than the one we're currently in, because we've been not because we're gluttons, but because we've been living in basically a shoebox for 32 years. Our first house we were going to move out of after 5. Yeah, and managed to trip over each other.
Mom, stop being modest. Tell them about the landing strip that we have in the backyard, the full basketball court, the soccer field, the football field. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Again, we can answer questions like crazy. I like answering questions. I don't do enough Q&As. Given usually, well, yeah, it's funny. I actually don't get that many questions during when I do my live streams. It's usually just people yelling at me or telling me, "What are you doing? You suck."
Oh, nice. Isn't that lovely?
That's my life.
You send them to me. I will talk to them.
Yeah, the Indian guy on Kake that was telling me, "I will find your family." I was like, "I've never met you, dude." Yeah, that's the internet for you. With the Drew Scanlon situation going on, how do you feel about persons' right to pop culture and memes? Do you think they are owned? Do you think they are owned the profits? Jeez, I don't even know what this is. Hold on, hold the phone. Drew Scanlon. Whoa. Oh, the blinking guy meme. That's his name? I never knew that. 4 hours ago.
Scanlon? Oh, Drew Scanlon, blinking guy.
Internet guy, blinking guy is trading his meme fame for miles this weekend. He will ride 102 miles across the Bay Area to raise funds for sclerosis research. Jeez. Says nearly 10-year cycling missions has raised more than $250,000 for the disease. Despite having one of the most famous faces, he's not recognized on the street. His fame comes from. Okay, but what's the controversy?
Yeah. Should he be allowed to monetize his memes? Is that the question? I don't understand the question.
Who? Okay, let me try controversy.
Controversy.
I always put T in there at the end. Controversy is what I say.
So I guess math isn't your only weakness.
I hate it here. I need a new podcast host. I worded a bit weirdly, but because of the YouTube type limits.
It's tough when your mom is hard on you.
Yeah, when my mom's making fun of me. So okay, first off, I didn't even realize that there was a limit to how much you could text on YouTube. I feel like I've gotten some long ones. With the Drew Scanlon situation going on, how do you feel about the person's right to pop culture and memes? Do you think that I mean, if it's something you made, I mean, you can't, of course you can profit off of it, but there's just some people, like, he's not really profiting off of the meme. He's profiting from doing his, what was it, a walk or a bike ride thing? And he just happens to be the meme guy. So I don't know.
And it sounds like, unless he's scamming people and saying it's from multiple sclerosis, but he's keeping it, I don't know. But I don't have a problem with him profiting off of him blinking on the...
Yeah, not so much a controversy, but should they be allowed to profit off their likeness, or you think trumps the whole freedom of memes, or you think this trumps the whole freedom of memes internet? I know a few other pop meme culture have done the whole meme coin based on their likeness as well. Oh, okay. Well, I guess the only difference is, like, let's take the Haktua girl, for instance.
Right.
She made a coin on the Tua coin or whatever, and that just ended up being a rug pull. The difference is he's raising money for not being a meme, but for doing the actual races. Like, he's actually physically doing something to make money rather than just saying, here's a coin and let's do a pump and dump. I don't see why not. I mean, technically, here's the soft launch for the Kake coin. But but like, right, if I minted a bunch of coins and I sold it to you guys, but you got nothing in return and the coin is worthless, then I'm taking advantage of you. I'm taking advantage of my likeness to make a coin. Like, if you look at these quote unquote shit coins that people do for these cryptos, it's not pretty. You know, it's not I mean, every single one is just a rug pull. Yeah, he's doing something good using his likeness. Yeah. But if he was like, hey, I'm trying to make a meme coin, okay, here's the problem. Now we have to make sure the money goes to the charity that he says it is. Because we just saw with the VTubers a couple months ago, they did that donation, and then can't remember her name, but that VTuber, that Vishojo, right? I think it was. Like, she gave all this money, and then it turns out Vishojo wasn't giving the money away. So you have to, that's really the only, technically a meme coin works if people are actually making money, but the second a rug pull happens and no one's making money anymore, it's like, oh, okay.
Well, it's not even about that though. I mean, he's known for being the blinking guy. It's no different than a comedian or anybody else who now wants to raise money off of their name for a good cause.
Right.
So this is what made him famous. People recognize him and he's making money. I'm assuming that's the controversy. I don't know if there's something else to the story, but it doesn't even sound like, it's not like he's even making the money off of his meme. He's doing it because people know him and doing the ride, and they're going to
and said, hey, you might know me from this, so I'm doing this if you guys want to just, like, hey, help out. So, I mean,
I don't think there's anything with anybody else with any sort of skill and accuracy doing stuff.
If that, what's the name of that kid? The one that's the black kid that stabbed that white kid. If the parents can make a GoFundMe and make money that way, I think this guy can use the likeness of his image.
Yeah, and it's just a regular, like, what do you call those things? Fundraiser.
Yeah, it's just a fundraiser.
Miles for money. You pledge money, I assume, or you send him money as he's doing these miles. I don't have a problem with it. Yeah. This is in the story.
Yeah.
That's how he got his fame, from doing blinks. Okay, whatever.
I mean, it's a classic meme. It's still alive to this day. Good question. Any other questions? When are you leaving on, when are you coming down, Mom?
On, what is it, next Saturday.
Oh,
is the target.
Literally a week from today. Wow.
A week from today, yeah.
Whoa.
Don't want to jinx it, but Yeah. Don't tell Grandma.
I have to start cleaning. What? She still doesn't realize?
No, she knows it, but she's upset about it. Every day
Oh.
she says, I don't want to go. I don't
I
want
don't
to
want
go.
to go.
I don't want to leave here.
I don't want to leave. I don't want to
Yeah,
go.
I don't want to go. She does. She's too good here. She's living large here.
She doesn't want to see her grandson? She doesn't want to see her favorite grandson?
That's what I told you. You got to see Chris and Jordan all the time now. You get to see anybody
Goes,
here.
no.
Well, Michael's here. She always gets me. Well, Michael's here right now.
Yeah, Michael went home for an hour and then was like, I'm going to Penn State tonight.
Yeah. Left the next day for Penn State. Spent most of the time with his face in the fridge looking for something to eat. God.
That's Michael for you.
That's our Mikey.
Mikey motorcycle.
She's not into the car ride. I was trying to rope your uncle into it. We'll see.
Oh, wait, for Uncle to come down?
Well, yeah, I was trying to rope him into doing the ride with me. But anyhow, that's a story for another time.
Good luck.
Right. Not going to happen, but I threw it out there.
We still have time. You guys can keep asking other questions. Video game questions, family questions. I don't really care. Okay, we'll answer anything at this point. Yeah, I don't know. Chris, why were you such a genius growing up? I don't know, guys. My mom can answer that one for you.
There's no question. You just made that up.
My mom knows me too well. My mom knows me too well. The video game scene has been a little dry. Yeah, go for it. I completely disagree with you on that one, Enzo. This has been the best year of video games we've had for a while. Okay, ready? Here we go. I actually just watched Moist Critical talk about it. Ready? I'm going to put you on here. I'm going to put you on. If you're talking multiplayer games, yes. Single player games, ready? We had Silk Song, Expedition 33. We had Chrono the New Dawn. We have the new Ghost of Tsushima, whatever that's called. We had First Berserker Con. It's actually been a very solid year for video games. So straight up just not true. And then we have Arc Raiders, which comes out, I think, 2 weeks now. So that's going to be the big one. That's the big multiplayer one.
How's that Silk Road one or Silk whatever?
Silk Road. Called, wow, man. I need a new host. Whatever. I skipped all those. They didn't pique my interest. Expedition 33 is probably one of the best games I've ever played. And I hate turn-based games. Yeah, Silk Song was really good.
Silk Song
was really good.
Yeah, I wasn't that far off.
No, you weren't wrong. You weren't that far off.
Jackass.
Hey, can I get a new host, somebody, please? God.
Oh, Chris, you're breaking my heart. 2 hours on a Saturday night with you. You're breaking my heart.
Yeah, and then you're stuck with me for a week next week. Well, longer than that. Peak Receiver 2 schedule. Yo, so you're talking multiplayer, but yeah. I actually didn't play any of those. I know Jason's been playing those, but I don't know what Jason's been up to. I haven't talked to him in a while. I'll send him memes. That's about it.
You're a crappy friend.
Well, he's just busy, I think. I used to. He doesn't talk to me. Okay. I think he just has a different group of friends now. He's getting into hard drugs. No, I don't know. I think those are really new games I bought this year. Oh, gotcha. The $15 games. Ooh, times must be tough.
Hey.
That was a burn.
Yeah.
Meme sending is peak, bro.
Now that person's called you a jackass.
Yeah. I didn't play those. I don't know. We haven't been playing a lot of multiplayer games. I've been doing stuff with Paris and Ariel, but that's about it. Paris, well, I guess I'll tell you off stream, but she was giving me some flashbacks the other day. I was like, oof, I had to do that. I wouldn't mind spending the $60. Yeah. Yeah. You know what makes me even double as shitty is the fact that he gave $10 before. And I was like, oh, sorry, I totally forgot. I'm a terrible person. I apologize. If the game is worth it, yes, I agree.
Push the refund button.
Yeah, really. I don't deserve your $10. My mom's gonna freaking take it anyway, so whatever. If the game
I do not take my son's money. Lying.
If the game actually is worth it. Yeah, we haven't had that many games that have been worth it, I will say. Expedition 30. Well, that's the beauty of the Game Pass, though. Half the stuff you can get on the Game Pass. If you're not paying for the Game Pass at this point, well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't really make sense. It's fake news. Yeah. I don't know. Even Kenny was like, man, I got nothing to play. I was like, oof. Mama Cakes is not taking a cut. Mom, she's talked about it. There's been a couple. We've done a couple contract negotiations.
Liar. Liar.
Even Dad was like, I should get a cut because I used to do the electric bill. And I was like, Dad, that doesn't count. I mean, I have like a couple games off the Game Pass. Again, it works for me as a YouTuber because I play so many games. If you're someone that's only like, if you this year's Call of Duty is going to be absolutely abysmal. Like it's going to be the worst selling Call of Duty of all time. The only people that are going to get it are going to be the ones that have Game Pass because it's free on the Game Pass. So, yeah. Bought the games directly off the store. Yeah, that's true. Like, I might rebuy Silk Song when we do it. I might buy it on Steam just because modding.
What does that mean because of modding?
You can mod the game to make changes to it. So,
you can't do that on the other platform. You can only do it on Steam.
It's just a lot easier to do it through Steam. Like, Steam is very good about that stuff. But there's a lot of ways of doing it. I've just never done it through Game Pass. So... And Microsoft is kind of a pain in the ass about that kind of stuff. Play the Fallouts and a couple random titles. Fallout I couldn't really get into. I'm going through Tina's Tiny Wonderland or Tiny Tina's Wonderland right now. Almost done with it. That's exciting, but yeah. What other questions do we have? I was going to test my mom's knowledge today on like gaming logo or lingo just to see if she could take a guess what they mean.
Oh, please. Will you stop? You know I don't know that stuff.
We've done it before.
You cannot embarrass me. I do not care.
You hear about that poor cancer patient that got their entire savings stolen off a Steam game. What? Roblox? That sounds like Roblox. What?
Sounds terrible.
Hey Enzo, let's bring the mood down, huh?
Yeah.
Let's really bring the mood down. God, we were having a good time. He goes from talking about video games to the cancer patient that got their entire savings stolen off a Steam game. There's got to be more to that story because Steam has a lot of protections in place so that doesn't happen. So they must have like remember the old Fortnite days where people were like kids were spending their parents' savings on Fortnite skins. Ugh.
Have to change the name from Steam to Steel.
Oh, he was raising the cancer treatment money on a crypto wallet. He was live streaming. Wait. Off of Steam. So he was live streaming Flash's crypto wallet and it all got taken. Fool.
Oh,
there we go. That's what he meant. While playing a game on Steam, I guess.
Why would he flash his crypto wallet?
Some people just aren't paying attention. Like, you got to really...
I mean, he was on his computer.
Yeah, he was streaming. Like, right now. Like, I always have to be careful because right now we're monitor capturing. And I have to, like, they can see my monitor. So, that's why I'm always, like I say, we got to prepare beforehand because I got to move stuff.
Gotcha.
And apparently it's super sophisticated. Yeah, Steam wallet. Yeah. Someone in the chat managed to talk him into buying a game on Steam, and apparently it was super sophisticated. Wow, really? I'll definitely look into that because I want to see. That might just, no offense to the patient, but that might have just been stupidity on the streamer's part. But
say ignorance.
Ignorance.
They were ignorant of what it can and cannot do with the information.
Yeah, like if a viewer is telling you to buy something, it's probably not a good idea. Like I wouldn't do it. If one of my viewers was like, "Hey, buy this thing for $1,000," I'm not gonna do it.
Well, I thought something flashed and they stole the information. I thought that's what they
right,
were saying.
but basically, no. So if I were to guess, he had his Steam up, right? His Steam store,
right?
Went to go hit purchase, and then he was probably transferring money from crypto to, and then they saw it.
Gotcha.
So the guy didn't care about the game itself. He knew the guy was going to flash his crypto wallet.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Well, if you could prove that, you might be able to get the money back.
No, it was the game. Okay. Okay. Now my interest is piqued. I gotta look this up. Cancer patient loses.
Yeah, I've never heard anything about
I gotta see this. Cancer patient loses money on a Steam game. Okay. Okay, here we go. Here we go. A stage 4 cancer patient. Oof. God, that sucks. Moist Critical did an entire video on it. Oh, I'll have to see that. Love Moist Critical. Crypto streamer lost a you know what I love about Moist Critical? We talk about this all the time. He's the most famous and most successful YouTuber that does like the most bare minimum work. A stage 4 cancer patient and crypto streamer, mistake number 1, lost approximately $32,000 to malware disguised as a Steam game called, I'm not even going to say it, in September 25. The incident occurred during a charity live stream when he was raising funds for his cancer treatment. Prompted by a viewer to download and play Blockbuster, which at one point appeared to be a legitimate 2D platformer.
Yeah. It had a
the
crypto drainer component.
Oh, the game received a malicious update that contained drainware designed to steal cryptocurrency and other sensitive information from users' computers. The malware operated silently in the background. Crypto wallet drained during a live stream September 21st. Wow, that was 6 days ago. Infected game moments later, the malware detected his crypto wallet, which contained over 32,000 raised from token cancer. Okay, so he made his own. Okay. Wow, that's crazy. Hold on, I gotta check something real fast. Let's see. Is that game still on Steam or did it? Huh.
That's good. I mean, he's doing a GoFundMe.
Yeah. It has a happy ending. Okay, good. I'm glad it has a happy ending, but that's still crazy. I'm surprised Steam even allowed that. Like, usually they wouldn't even allow you to have a game on there that could do it.
Crypto influencer Alex Becker said that he sent this individual $32,500 to a safe wallet.
Yep. Well, good, but sucks that there's shitty people out there.
I can't believe it. Well, I guess you can't go after the
no, because it's not trackable, right? Oh, the actual app itself probably. Like, Steam doesn't have it anymore, I don't think, unless it's a different game, but we'll see. The price of it skyrocketed when he got his money back from more donations to other outlets, but the thief managed to still get away with the money, but he's getting blasted. No, crypto is hard to track back, yeah. Yeah, wow, that's kind of sad. That's depressing.
Reportedly, these people were explicitly targeted after being identified over Twitter for managing significant cryptocurrency amounts and were presumably sent invitations to try out the game.
Right. So that's why you got to be careful with these. Again, if I'm not downloading it from Steam, I'm not touching it. But I would be surprised that he actually got it on Steam unless... Yeah, they must have taken it off. This isn't the same.
GDAT researcher Karsten Hahn also documented a Python backdoor and a Steal C payload used alongside the batch stealer.
Wow.
Sounds like I'm speaking another language here.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I don't know how to, they're getting so sophisticated. I don't know I wouldn't know what to tell somebody to say, oh, you shouldn't do blank, blank, blank anymore. It sounds like it was just a fluky thing.
Yeah, it's just stay away from the crypto.
The game itself stole
the guy. Yeah, the game itself stole the guy's crypto, right? So it goes to, yeah. Again, I would be curious. I have to look at the video. I would be surprised though if it was actually on Steam. It was probably another game to download, like off a website, because Steam's pretty good about, like, they go through your games with a fine comb on Greenlight, so I'd be surprised, but definitely if that's possible.
I'll send you the article.
I'm not super. That's not true though.
I think what's amazing to me is that this still goes on. Like, there's no cyber police type system that tracks this stuff down to figure out what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, we get.
Well, that's the downside. That's regulations, right?
Yeah.
If you have no regulation,
but this is a criminal activity. Obviously that was for me. This is a criminal activity.
Oh, so it is a verified Steam game. I just got your text. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me see this. Verified Steam game. 2D platform. Yeah. Wait. No. I want to see if they have it on here because I can't see it now.
Don't you pull it up.
Well, I don't have
Your money, your crypto stolen.
I don't have any crypto. Yeah. So like I'm looking it up on like literally on Steam and it doesn't exist. So they either
Oh.
took it down. Oh yeah. Published by Genius Interactive and no longer on Steam, the retro style game was free to play title promising fast paced action. Responsive controls very positive. Malicious component in the game was revealed during live funds. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, I tell you, I'm telling Steam what to do, but this group stole like 150 some odd $1,000. They should have some sort of an insurance plan where they can reimburse people when stuff like that happens.
Usually they
just
do. Usually they do, but
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen it in crypto. Because they do give reimbursements on certain things, but Steam is a fantastic website. The fact that that's not considered a monopoly is crazy.
Yeah.
I love Steam. Yeah. I don't think it's possible to be a gamer and not use Steam. But all right, any other questions before we wrap it up? Just because we've already done almost an hour and a half, or 2.5 hours. I mean.
And I keep hearing Grandma scream, "Where's the game? Where's the game?"
I mean, if you want to run up and
going through no, it's okay. She's going through the channels, right?
yeah.
She acts like she.
Damn it,
went to
Irene!
school.
That's what she's gonna say. Damn it, Irene! Mom, we have a lot of Attack on Titan to catch up on. We have a lot.
I'm not there that long.
Yeah, but I'm back in. I'm in Jersey. I'm gonna have to strap. I'm gonna keep Grandma's chair where it is. Strap you down. Make sure you can't leave as we. We gotta go through that. We gotta do Lord of Mysteries. Go ahead.
Oh, so we should watch the car for the freaking 10-hour ride home. So there's so many podcasts.
Barely into season 3 of AOT. Payday 2 is going to have a subscription model for all their DLC. Oh God. Payday 2 or 3? Payday 2 is like 10 years old. I don't remember. I don't know. I will say, side note, I'm getting tired of all these subscriptions. The amount of things like I like. That's what I'm saying. Oh, Payday 2, that's crazy. What was I saying? So subscription models, like obviously if you're getting something for it. So for instance, Xbox Game Pass, that makes sense because I can get $1,000 worth of games for $120 a year. I'm only winning in that sense. Whereas looking at, I think I told you this, but they did the finances on how much it would cost you subscription wise to watch every NFL game. It's like $152 in subscriptions. Different subscriptions, not one subscription, different subscriptions. So you need Peacock. Yeah, you would need.
Oh.
No. You'd have to buy a Peacock one. You'd have to buy an ESPN one. You'd have to buy a. So,
right.
I mean, it's crazy.
Out of the blue the other day, I was checking my emails and I got all these messages from all the sites. Now, I'm not doing gaming. I'm talking about the TV. They're all raising their prices. One right after the other. Apple's now going to cost you. Max is going to cost you. Hulu, blah, 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 blah.
And then they wonder why pirating's going through the roof right now.
Well, I'm like, did FCC all of a sudden give them a green light to say, hey, up your prices? I don't know, but I'm like, well,
trying to be competitive.
The other.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
And now I'm back to gosh, I'm spending so much more money on top of everything else.
Well, because they know they've killed cable. Like, cable's useless now. So they're like, okay, so now we can, Or what's going to end up happening is you're going to see this swing where all the subscriptions go up and then cable lowers their price and everyone goes back to cable and then it just goes back and forth, the pendulum effect.
There's still only certain new releases you can only see on Netflix.
Which is so dumb.
Whatever, that's why I get stuck sticking with it. But yeah, it's getting tedious now. It's really getting expensive when I start adding it up. I don't want to look. I'm like, how much am I spending every month on all this stuff? I just keep paying it. But I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Add to that Spotify. We do that. And
yeah, the only subscription I pay for is my gym and my Game Pass. I think that's it. Oh, yeah, gym and Game Pass and my Restream. That's it. So that we can stream to multiple platforms, which I write off as a business expense anyway.
Yeah.
Gotta love those write-offs.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. I guess we can wrap it up there. There's not much else that we have. It was a solid 2.5 hours. We got through a lot, Mom. We got through a lot.
Yes, we did.
Next week we have the in-person podcast. We haven't done an in-person podcast in a while. Not since the Ben and Jerry's incident, which I still laugh at every time.
It's not live, though.
No, that was not live.
It's good.
We'll see who wants to do that one. You, me, Graham, and Sue. I don't know. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
I might ask you to bring your Yeti just in case. Just in case we need the extra.
I'm going to ask you to remind me because of all the shit that I have to remember.
Oh,
Yeti's
actually,
on
top of that, I do have, we can use the chest mics that I have for the souffle. So, cooking with pancake. We call it souffle, but yeah, that's what my community partner manager told me to do. So I was like, okay.
That's a cute idea.
Yeah. Cooking with pancake. But all right, guys. So the only things I have to promote, obviously the podcast from last week, which is also on Spotify. We posted a cooking video on Wednesday, the meat stew, the hamburger stew. Go check that out. And then yesterday I posted the first part of the walkthrough for the House of Tesla, which I think we're just going to stream the rest of that sometime next week. Do a puzzle together. And then Speedrun came out today on Ebola 2. And then apartment tour when you come. We'll have to do the apartment tour next week. So I'll be out. I don't know when. Oh, we'll see you, Larissa. I'm surprised. No questions from you, Larissa. What was I saying? So hopefully this week will be on a normal schedule. I don't think I have too much coming up. Jordan asked me to go do something tomorrow with her, so I might do that with Jordan. So I don't think I'll do much recording, but we'll see. We'll see. So yeah. Other than that, social media, promo codes, stream links, Discord down below, and hopefully we will see you guys. Well, I'll see you guys tomorrow or Monday. And yeah.